All right, I'm back in the shop. I actually don't know what to do, so we're going to look around and try to find some jobs we got to do today. I realized last week I tried to film just doing jobs, and I didn't do the let's see what I got to do thing, and I realized that kept me from finishing the video because I had no idea what to do. I'll add some of that footage to this video, but I feel like we missed the video last week because I didn't do that. So today we're going to do a shop tour. I think that just, for my own mind, the best thing to do is walk around and find projects that I need to work on. So let's do that. Okay, so the front's doing pretty good. The bottom here needs a little bit of work. I actually got all the loose cards into this tray. I'm gonna make this a quarter a piece tray. As I was going through some of my random cards, I actually found a, well, if it was mint, like $1,000 one-piece card. I was kind of shocked. I just saw it. I was like, oh, that's probably worth something. I looked it up. I was shocked by the value. The one I had is kind of beat up, so it's maybe only worth $100 to $200, but I'm just going to keep it and give it to my son in the future. I'll show you what the card is. I was digging through my catch-all random card box, kind of throw everything in there when I get them, and I found this card. Don't know where I got it, when I got it. It's not in the best shape, but even in kind of beat up, I think it's worth a lot of money. It looks like it was the very first one-piece trading card game card that was ever produced, and it looks like it sells for a lot of money. But it's just amazing. You will be shocked what kind of cards are worth money. To me, it looks like a pile of cheap stuff, and you dig through, you might actually find value. I mean, I found this really cool little Dirk Jeter game card or something. That goes for $1 or $2 on eBay. I throw it in my quarter bin because it's not in the best shape. Someone would get a cool Jeter card for a quarter. That's kind of what I'm saying. So yeah, I have a little bit to do here. Last week I worked on these. I'll show you what I did with these to get them up there. Okay, I had an idea. I have just a small amount of pins left, 10, 20. I want to get rid of this box. So card sleeves cost me less than a penny, maybe half a penny per sleeve, wholesale. These I buy on Amazon to draw art on. I realized I paid 5 cents a piece per card. So if I take a 5-cent card, 5, maybe 6 cents, put it like that, and then I put the, if I put the pin in here, if I can fit it, yeah, they'll fit. You can do that so it looks nicer. And then I got a fancy hole punch right here. It has like all kinds of different hole punch sizes. I think, will that do in the middle of the card? I got a double C. No, that's not the middle of the card. I might have to do these before I actually put the item in. We're experimenting. See how this works. Okay, plastic. That. I want the biggest hole. It looks about right, I think. Okay, do that. Put that in there. I priced it $2.99, and then I can just hang these up. Yeah, I got it there. It's a little tight, but I'm gonna just hang them all up, and then later on maybe put them on smaller hooks, just so that's only 1 or 2 at a time. But for now, I'm just gonna get them on that one hook to get the box out of here. Oh. Mike is here. So Mike brought in a whole bunch of comic books for me to look for, and I bought a nice pile of stuff. And you'll see what I bought from him on Pop Comics this coming weekend. We've actually been selling some of the $5 pops I have in the front here. Maybe I need to clean up the bottom there a little bit. But this area is pretty much under control. Oh, I do have to move that power cord out of there too. I did want to mention I pulled my back again on Friday, so this whole weekend I've been kind of out of commission. Yesterday was the worst. Today I'm feeling a little bit better. That's why I'm filming. So yeah, I'm not going to do a lot of big heavy lifting today. I'm just going to look for little teeny jobs we can get done. So last week I moved this giant shelf out of the store into the basement, and that might be one reason why my back went funky. I cleared out this shelf. I'm going to bring it to the basement. This shelf can hold 20 short boxes of comics, and that's how many Dark Horse comics I sorted out. So I'm going to find a spot for that. I could fit, my Dark Horse. I think there's a few spots where I can like move a few things around and fit it in very well. Okay, I moved the shelf. I think today's big job is I want to get this area cleared out. It's just a mess. And I want to get all the loose trading cards up here. Like over here, we have Dragon Ball cards. I kind of want everything in monster boxes on the top here. So that's what we're going to work on today. Especially, there's older stuff here, just like kind of piled. And that bin down there is just piled, so I want to clean all that up. All right, just a bit overwhelmed. Let's see, we have Jaws 3 cards. A Baywatch card, a Beatles card. I mean, there's neat stuff in here. It's a little dusty. I'll have to dust some of this. Alright, it's kind of hard trying to vacuum the cards without damaging them. I do have a Swiffer, which I am going to just... Anything that's on the top here that has a little bit of a dust layer, want to remove as much of that dust just so that they're a little bit cleaner. I had these, I guess, at 50 cents. I'm going to drop them down to $1 a card. Okay, Baywatch card. Yeah, it's too much dust. Usually what I do is with the Swifter, once I get the dust, I kind of just hit it here just to get some of the dust off. Keep using it. I rewash these over and over again because I feel like they work better after a couple washes. They, when you first use them, they sometimes leave residue. So like when they're kind of washed first. Okay, I want to clear out and then vacuum each little section. Dusty. I don't want to say you're dusting every card, just trying to get the surfaces that were exposed. Cool vintage cards though. Like, it is Jaws 2, but still a cool looking image. Jaws 2, I do like Jaws 2 and Cyndi Lauper cards. These I bought in a distribution case. You'd get these cases like 500 or 5,000, something like that, that you would buy in the day that they would put in little vending machines. So I bought these because I was making sets at some point, and then this is just like all the extras or the stuff that I just didn't complete sorting. So now I just let people buy them for $1 each. Because why not? You know, if someone wants a half a Baywatch card or a Hop Along Cassidy football card, you can get it for $1. I don't know, it might be worth a small fortune now. Some of these cards, people, and a whole bunch of Digimon. I bet you these are going to have value one of these days. Okay, got one small handful. I want to vacuum that side. I'm just going to try to get these trays full, basically. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I noticed in the back when the person had the box in there, I think I'm going to do multi boxes in the box as well if I can. No, I need the inner tray. Okay, I think I have a couple of those. 3 of those. Okay, 3 inner trays. This way I can separate the box a little bit and put each card type together. There we go. Now that way there's a little bit less floppy space. Dusty, dusty, dusty.
Here. Oh, comics. Almost like the comics.
You just unlocked 10% off by saying that. 007. Alright, there's some cool stuff mixed in this box. It's just like a catch-all for all the random, movie cards that we have in the shop. A little bit of football, the sports. I don't think I have a lot of sports. I'm gonna put those separate. Pretty much I had all the sports stuff bought out. Dusty, 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 dusty. All right, I'll vacuum the next bay. Okay. $5 for a double pack. Those are pretty cool, actually. Dusty, 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 dusty. I don't want to Pamela Anderson. I don't want to super sort them. I just want to get them so they're a little bit easier to go through. Hopefully, you know, a customer walks in and it's a little OCD and wants to super sort them. Okay, Digimon can have its own box. I was putting the football there. No, I'll put it sideways like that for now. Watch, we have bottom half album stickers. Cindy Lauper. Okay, yeah, put that there. James Bond ones are kind of cool. A reboot? I like that show back on TV. Back in the, what, like 92? A little bit damaged, but it's a Pamela Anderson card. Someone might want that for a quarter. Okay. That's football one sports. The thing with sports cards is most of them aren't worth anything, and then you get a star player, a rookie, then it's worth something. So it's kind of hard to sell them in bulk because the vast majority of them have no value. Okay. Alright, we'll have these all. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you looked through them? No, it's just someone else. Oh, that's all. That was just, yeah. And then in the back, you probably already saw there's like 20% common boxes. Oh, no. So it's just like big trays of like.
That's cool looking. Pokemon common. Eric Clapton, that's cool. That one's cool. Probably giving it away at a corner.
Oh my gosh. Isn't it
They're icons.
I don't know what the other ones are besides Pokémon and the leprechaun for.
Was it good?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, it's dusty. Dusty, dusty. All right, take care.
Have a great one.
You too. Kojak pack. 8 cards, one very ancient piece of gum from 1975. It's older than me. Not technically gum anymore. a brick formerly known as gum. Trying to pick up any of the little dust bunnies and piles of dust, and then get the surfaces cleaned. I don't want to go too crazy, but I want to get it organized and cleaner. 50-cent Johnny Quest pack. Put that there for now. 21 Jump Street. That's actually kind of neat. Oh, 18? For a quarter, you can get a cool 18 card. Put that in the front. Feeling a bit burnt out from doing all this content, so we're just doing a slow, relaxing cleaning video today. Just want to get as much of this front area picked up and clean and organized, make it a little bit easier to find things that you want. Okay, remove the dust. Mash. Harry and the Hendersons. Mash. My fingers are extra sensitive, so I can actually feel the dust particles. So I know when a surface feels extra dusty to me, it feels, I don't like it. So just by touch, I can kind of tell what's going on. I'll remove this stuff and throw out this box. I don't need this box. Okay, that's all garbage. This just looks dirty. No. Walking Dead pin, that's kind of cool. Dusty. Dusty. Okay, the rest of that I'm just tossing. It's really dirty. A bunch of record sleeves. Oh, some toys hiding under here. Oh, that's a cool little Punisher figure. I don't know why those were on. They're there. Pack of Star Wars cards. That's cool. What is this on the side here? That's, oh, uncut Batman cards. X Factor trading cards. Golden Compass. America Attacks. Oh, that's dusty. Dusty. Oh, Alf cards. That's cool. Ohio. It's a sticker. Here's Bo.
Thank you guys.
Take care. Have a nice day. Movie projector. I need to find a little box or something to put all these things into. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Claw slice. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna remove this. I can put a new sleeve on that. Okay, put that in there. I don't know what that is. Someone might get a super steal. It's always amazing to me that a little piece of cardboard like this can end up being something worth thousands of dollars. Not that specific one. I'm just saying there are cards worth that much that are just floating around in boxes somewhere. Question is, have I ever sold a card for a quarter that's worth, you know, $100 today? Probably. You know, stuff goes up in value. Some stuff you get missed. Like, I would be shocked if there's a here's Bo card worth money, but there could be. Okay, hello. Oh, it's too dirty. Oh, this is a little fog hat bubblegum record. Those are kind of neat, actually. Species card, that's cool. Toss that box too, just really dusty and dirty. I want to put a little box or something on that shelf with all the little loose things. Wait, Treasure Planet. Those are from that box. Okay. Packs of metal cards. There. Some kind of weird Star Wars trivia thing or something. Just gonna put these all kind of just here. Here's Bo, can go in there. Star Wars. Metal. Damaged cartridge hooked. ET pins. These really do not take up that much space. Okay, let's see what else needs to be done. Okay, Soundtracks is pretty good. I don't need the restock of that. So yeah, I have these 2 boxes I gotta deal with. That one just has a little bit of supplies in it. That one is the random stuff from my record guy I still need to deal with. I don't know. The records, and I do need to price that box of records, but I don't know if I want to work on that today. Maybe. I gotta find somewhere to put these Deadpool posters. Oh, I'm not in a widescreen. Oh, you know what? It would be kind of nice to find a spot to put those cassette tapes finally, so that I can clean up the front here a little bit. I got a whole bunch of these Jimbo Jones Funko Pops in. I have like minty ones at 27. This one has a slight dent for 18, and then I have really beat up ones for 6. So depending on how good a box condition, I have those. Oh, I did get a handful of loose toys, not loose toys, some carded toys. So that's new to the shop. It's a Lord of the Rings Galadriel figure. We got a Star Wars. I love this line, but it's cheap, $5 for a carded figure. Like, those don't sell for anything. I do really love that toy line, though. Oh, my wife corrected me. Star Trek. If you notice, I'll say Superman for Batman, or Batman for Superman, or Star Wars for Star Trek, or Star Trek for Star Wars. My brain gets things backwards all the time, and I don't even notice. Thanks. That's something my brain does often. I got this Visible Woman figure. That one's also cheap, $7. It was a regular customer that's been shopping for like 10, 15 years. They were moving, so they sold out a little pile of stuff. Oh, okay. We already sold at least one of the figures. Okay, that's good actually. It was an Ozzy Osbourne figure. That was really good. So yeah, somewhere there might be more. Oh, is the Arnold still in here? I did keep one of the toys. It's decided I had to keep this one because it's a really cool Arnold Schwarzenegger Last Action Hero, and it's a decent likeness of him for action figures. So I really like that figure. Mint on card. The card's got a little bit of damage, but I was like, you know what? I gotta keep that one. It's very awesome. Well, early 90s. Let's say 93. Yeah, really cool. And I mean, he looks kind of like a 90s figure. Okay, let's go down the aisle. I feel like this aisle's looking pretty good. There's not too much of a mess. I just have some empty boxes, so that's something maybe we can deal with. That area is still a mess, but I don't know if I'm ready to tackle that. My back hurts too much for that. This area, you know, I think I will tackle this area because I pulled out shelves. I grabbed a bunch of these shelves from storage so I can reset up that shelf so I can put cassette tapes on it. Not cassette, videotapes. I figure I wanted to make, since the DVD section has plenty of room, and I keep selling enough to restock, I feel like if I make this area, I could fill it up with VHS. Maybe one of those empty boxes I'll use for there. I think that's actually what I'll do. I'll take some of the empty boxes and fill that up, and then get some DVD shelves set up here. Which back here we have all these empty boxes that are not being used. So I would like to put them, I might need to retire one or two just because they're kind of beat up. This shelf is still relatively good. That's $7. That seems high for something beat up. I wonder if that was a duplicate. I might have put it out years ago when I wasn't really collecting Caliber, but now every time I see anything from Caliber, I'm like, oh, I kind of want that. Oh, you know, the other big job I could do. Oh, yeah, it definitely looks like Allison's been knocking out some of these boxes. We're down to 6 now. So I think she got 2 boxes priced out in the last week. So that's good. I think the big tedious job to do today is maybe get the cassettes all kind of off the boxes and put away properly. Because that will open up this whole shelf that I can put a whole bunch of stuff on. This shelf, a little bit messy, but because it's consolidated, it's actually not that bad. I do have one nice crate I could use for something. Okay, and then this aisle, we still have the boxes from the front that need to be dealt with. I think Allison's slightly gone through these. Yeah, this box is empty, so I need to get rid of that. Bring that down to the basement. Slowly work on some of that. Maybe we can get some of that put away today. Comics have been selling really well. We've been going through about 2/3 of a box like this a week, maybe half a box to 2/3. So I do notice lots of space opening up. The bronze box needs to be refilled. This box has some room. Avengers pretty empty. Batman's gaining a little bit more room, down to 2 3/4 of a box. This X-Men does not belong in the Deadpool box. Saga's definitely got room in it. I need to find like a small Saga collection just so I can refill that. Wonder Woman. Oh, that's a really nice Jenny Friesen. I'm shopping my own shop. I'm not ready to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in the back though. Uncanny X-Men. This magazine box is floppy in the back. I feel like this is getting worn out, so I might want to do something with that box just to make it. You know what? Maybe I'll put the crate. Oh, you know what? We were planning on moving some of these. Oh, what happened here? Okay. I see one short box full, so it feels like someone emptied out one of these into this box here, which is weird. Which, I might just try to actually just put the box in there. So yeah, we'll work on that in a second. We'll make that a job to work on. CDs, I need to clean up a little bit. That's another job I want to work on. And mainly, I think if we can get that box sorted into the trays and get rid of at least like one of these boxes, that would probably make it a little bit better over here. I was ordering supplies today because I need more comic boxes and stuff. And I saw that they had really nice cassette tray boxes. It's like just 2 long rows in one box with a lid. You can get $3 a box. I was thinking about getting it, but I really don't want to put any money into cassettes right now because a lot of what's left is not good. It's just kind of picked over stuff. So it's more, I need to find someone who needs them for like a project or likes country or other less popular music genres. Easy listening, B level or C level pop artists. You know, like Dan Fogelberg is not that popular, so he kind of sits around. So yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I sort of want to get rid of them, but I don't want to get rid of them for free, which is something I do occasionally. It's more like, oh yeah, PM Dawn up on the, oh, that's a $5 one. Percy Sledge. All right, so this box has a few better ones mixed in. So those are the ones I want up on the wall, actually. The slightly better ones. Yeah, slightly better ones on the wall. All right, look at these 3 on the wall. Just find a little bit. I try to put anything that I notice that's a little bit better artist, a little bit more recognizable. Try to just put them on the wall here just so I can point people into the direction, although that doesn't belong on the wall. Sometimes people just put stuff. I don't know who Luis Miguel is, so I might actually need to go through the wall and pull up stuff that people put on here. I don't even know who that is, so I'm not sure why that's on the wall. Someone probably stuck it on there, which is not the stuff I normally try to have on the wall. I try to only have slightly better stuff. Yeah, okay, so we'll work on that. We'll add that to the job. That shelf needs organizing. Like I have on the bottom shelf under here, I have these cool DC character keychains, but they're buried. Like I feel like something like this should be in the front and not buried in the back here. Actually, I'm going to pull those out and put them by the front. It looks like someone opened one too. Yeah. This is what happens with blind bag stuff is random people open them. That sucks, but it is what it is. I can bag it up and put it out there. Okay. I'm going to bring these to the front. Don't really have room here. Maybe we can make room here. Let me try. No. All right, I'm going to put them on the other side. $20, 36 packs of Power Ranger cards. And this is also Power Ranger album stickers. We do that for $20. Joe Cocker cassette. I'm going to just put that there. And the postcard box. I feel like, yeah, I can move that over a little bit. Okay, there you go. That fits. Oh, and a genie pen. Okay. Okay, bring this box over here. This coming weekend is my friend Billy's little local comic show that he does. I think the last one he did was at the beginning of the year. He was going to stop them because he was just a little overwhelmed. But, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, they want them because we love them. The Queen's Comic Party, Brooklyn Invasion show. Those of us who like going to the show, we love, just, it's a local show. You get friend deals. I pick up amazing books. And he's having one this weekend. So I think I'm going to do a Whatnot show tomorrow. So I have a little bit of budget for the show. So I'll put a link in the description below to the Whatnot show so that you can follow it, and then you'll find me tomorrow, probably in the afternoon sometime. And so if you're watching this video, you see stuff you want, you can ask me to hold it for Whatnot as well. So hopefully I see you guys there tomorrow. Okay, let's get back to work. Okay, mentally I want to move all the cards around. I want to do all the big jobs, but like I said, I hurt my back, so I think I need to just do some light work. And so I think first I just want to fix the Pokemon again. I'm not sure if a customer filled this up or it looks like maybe they did pull out some. So I'm actually going to try to get this box into the tray because I actually kind of like the boxes in the tray. Kind of helps the organization. As you can see, what was it, 2 weeks ago we did a full sort of these. So, you know, stuff kind of gets messed up. A little bit here, a little bit there. Before you know it, everything's super jumbled from anyone who went through. And we didn't have as many people going through this box in the last week or so. It slowed down just a teeny bit. Although we've been selling a lot more of the rares. The EX, VMAX, V, GX, V-Star, or whatever other premiums. We've been selling a lot more of those. Not so much of the commons lately. Okay. There we go. I was actually going to look to see if I could find some energy cheap, like online energy, just because kids are always looking so they can play. And I couldn't find them cheaper than 10 or 20 cents a piece. So I was just like, maybe you can't get energy. I was hoping I could get energies for like 2 or 3 cents a piece so I could sell them for 10 cents. I might still get some for 10 cents and just break even just to have them for people. But yeah, I was actually kind of shocked. Okay, CDs. I have a box on the bottom, empty boxes there. So I feel like I'm going to move the empty boxes to the bottom and get a tray for that. Let me see if I have any of the CD trays. I do. I've been using up the CD trays for DVDs. I don't know if I have any empty. Oh, and then VHS. Yeah. Okay. I have trays like this full that I could use for the CD. Okay, I'm going to just move this over. Oh, this is... Okay, that's not good. I think this is the only box we're moving today because now my back hurts a little bit. Yeah. Nope, I can't do that. Failure. Okay. Allison, don't let me move any more boxes. No, I just moved the VHS box because I wanted to put the tapes into a different box and use this for the CDs. I can't do that. That hurts too much. All right, this is very difficult to do with a messed up back, to do any kind of organizing. Actually, Allison, can you just lift up this box for me? Okay, let me see if I can find a few more for the wall, maybe. I feel like, what was the box that we saw that had better ones in it?
Right here?
Yeah, just so I don't have to bend over. I'll put that guy right there. I have room for maybe like 10 more to fit on there. Okay, Allison moved this box for me so I can just start filling in the trays here. Okay. If I can get rid of this box, this would feel like a success. Oh, Crystal Gale, I'll put on the wall. She might have a little bit. Chris Isaac, yeah, I can put that up. Yeah, we're just gonna do slow work today, nothing crazy. Just because I want to get something done, but with my back, I'm just like struggling to do anything. I did just order like 40 or 50 comic book short boxes and some manga boxes because I want to get rid of the long boxes. I don't know if like I moved so many boxes last week, and but I didn't hurt my back until I was like bending over to look through a box. Oh, I want to show you that actually. People are looking through that box. I'll show you the box in a minute. But yeah, I was looking through a box of comics to basically I was trying to pull out comics for the shop out of all the duplicates I've been pulling out, and that's when I hurt my back. Really, really sucks. All right, I'm gonna use this box to organize these tapes just a little bit better. Tapes do continue to sell pretty good. We just sold, I think, 3 or 4 today. A lot of them are 5, but some of the better ones are more. I think someone asked me for 3 tapes, but the tapes they wanted were better tapes, and I had like 7 to 10 on them, I think. And they didn't respond, so I think they probably thought it was too expensive, maybe. Which is okay. Some of the times you have tapes that are worth a bit more because they're like this one is factory sealed. So I have $8 on that. I think $8. If you bought this on eBay, you could probably find like a used one for maybe $3 plus $5 shipping, but not a sealed one. The price we have them as, I'm trying to get them priced so that it's like buying on eBay without the shipping and maybe $1 savings. So I know you're getting a little bit cheaper than ordering online, basically. That's at least my goal. But I'm not giving them away for $1 either because it's hard to restock if you're... Honestly, for me to sell stuff at fire sale, you can make profit on the prices. I would have to basically steal stuff from people, and I can't do that. Or find people willing to sell stuff for way less than it's worth, and I don't like doing that. Okay. Trying to get these a little bit more organized. Okay. All right, that box, can I fit these side by side? No, this box here is not really the right size for VHS tapes. It's maybe I can fit the... Okay, it is good for the plastic ones. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put those rental ones, not rentals, the subscription ones in here maybe. Because those should fit in there. No, that's a little bit big for there. Okay. I can do that. I can kind of move stuff around with my arms. I just don't want to move them around with my legs. Okay, a couple more in there. Okay. Each one of these trays has room for 2 or 3, so I just want to get them as full as possible. Okay, there we go. One tray gone. Come on. Can fit one more right there. Okay. Oh, that tray has room for two more. Fill on the roof up on the wall. Okay, that tray is done. those trays are awful. This is all oddball DVDs. It was going to take a lot more work for me to figure out the price. Like, what is this? Looks like a Western, like, collectible wooden box DVD, but it's in Japanese. So I couldn't really figure out the value of that. That's what this box is. It's a bunch of DVDs that are a little bit harder to find the values. So they're rare. They could be really expensive. They could be really cheap. Okay, that's what that is. So yeah, we still have a lot more here to dig through. Whew, okay, just overwhelmed. Alright. Okay, that tray is full. I mean, you can look if there's things you want. I can sell them on the Whatnot show if I do one. Okay. That actually needs to move up there. Allison, can you help me move a box again? Okay, Allison helped me out. Move that box over so I can get to those trays. We'll get this bottom area. Looks like I haven't done it as much, so there's a lot more room. So I must have been selling a few out of there. John Cougar, I'll put on the wall. Oh yeah, this tray is such a mess. Okay, yeah, right now there's just a lot of little tedious jobs. I hope you guys enjoyed these. If you have questions for me for the next shop video, leave me questions in the comments just so that maybe I have something to talk about. I think that does make these a little easier for me. Steve Ward up on the wall too. It makes me a little bit easier to do videos if there's actually something I want to talk about. So I think that's what I need. I just need some inspiration. So if you guys have ask me anything kind of questions, I'll put a Barbra Streisand on the wall too. Ask away. And if I feel like answering it, I will answer it next week to, just have something to talk about. I feel like that would make it a lot more interesting for me to do these videos. Comic channel's been doing pretty good. I've been really, really more inspired to work on the basement series. So if you like this kind of video, I'm doing a similar style video in my shop's basement where I am just sorting out comics, pulling out duplicates, trying to clean up the shop. Or not the shop, the basement. So if you enjoy this, follow me on Pop Comics as well. I'm basically doing a weekly basement haul and cleanup type video. And it's been really fun. I actually want to do more on there. I just don't want to kill the momentum by doing so many that I burn people out. Because if people stop watching every video, then it stops getting promoted to them. And then before you know it, they're not seeing any of the videos. And then like a year later, I'll have someone like, oh, I didn't know you're putting out new videos. It's because the algorithm stops promoting to you if you don't click on every single one. Like it kind of gives you, like if you click on every one, it promotes it to you every time. If you click on every other one, it might be a little bit more cautious. If you stop clicking on new videos, it basically, I have room for about 5 more. If you stop clicking on new videos, it basically says, oh, they don't like this content anymore. So it stops promoting. So it's a little bit frustrating. Okay, that tray has lots of room now. We're going to fill it up. I don't know if there's anything of value still in here. The River soundtrack, who's on that? It's a John Williams. I'll put that. It's probably pretty decent. I'll put that on the wall. Yeah, hopefully I can get rid of this whole box. It'd be pretty cool. Then I can use this box for VHS tapes. Repurpose it. Lizzie Borden, I'll put that on the wall. Richard Marks, I'll put it on the wall. Not the best, but maybe slightly better. Country does not, a Triumph up on the wall. Country does not sell well in New York City. I know I've had people watch where I'm putting, like Earth, Wind, and Fire and soul bands and funk bands out because that sells really well for me. And they're like, oh, why are you putting that up? That doesn't sell. And then they complain that, oh, why aren't you excited for the country music? I know there's parts of the country where country music is probably really, really, really popular and sells well. New York City, it does not. People, it's so rare. And usually the only people that show any kind of interest in any kind of country are people that they're coming from out of state, basically. Tourists visiting the city, and they're like, oh, yeah, I like country. Whitney Houston. See, I can sell Whitney Houston. Titanic the musical, that's a maybe. Charlie Lyons, not familiar with that artist. Greatest hits of 74. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, country like that, I just don't know if I can sell it. I should probably just try to dig out all the country and see if I can do a big lot on Whatnot or something. I don't know. I gotta see if I can find people that want cheap, one or two. Yeah, I could maybe sell that. Sometimes the musical stuff sells as well. You know why? Because a lot of people that visit New York City are here to watch the Broadway stuff. So there's actually a lot of musical and show tube fans that come through as well. I actually find that kind of stuff sells really well for me. But that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's people that are visiting New York City that are here to see a show. And because they're seeing the show, they're a fan of that kind of content. So they'll buy an album, a record, a cassette tape of that kind of stuff. So that stuff I do like to get when I can get it. Okay, the top is full. That's full. Okay, I feel like this whole wall is pretty full now. Oh, I can fit one right there. Okay. I could go through it and see if people put stuff like Art Garfunkel deserves to be here. Yanni's okay. Martina McBride, it's recognizable, but country does not really sell. So I see stuff that should be here, but I'm assuming there's other stuff that got kind of mixed in that probably doesn't deserve to be on the wall. I am seeing some country artists that maybe I just put the more recognizable country up here. There's room on the bottom here, but I'd have to move this extra tray, which it might be worth me emptying this out and putting the tray out for like $30, because I bet I would sell this tray for $30 if I did that. But then I have to find a spot to put all these tapes. Okay, ooh. Bending over is hard right now, so I don't want to do too much of that. This tray is full. Okay, the tray's underneath. That has room for 2 or 3. So I'll put that there. A Billy Joel cassette. Single I'll put on there. Mississippi Burning. I might be able to sell that. All right, put this here. Okay, that tray is full. And then one more tray. Oh, one more I could fit there. I'll put that there. Okay, and then this tray has lots of room. Probably fit like 10 or 20 tapes. You can show I probably haven't organized these tapes in about a year. So after a year of being dug through, it's quite messy. You guys can see after 1 week, even the Pokemon was a little bit messy, but not crazy. So you do it, or you spend a few months not doing it. It's a Luther Vandross up on the wall. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so I have almost a whole row. What's a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So probably about 18 more I can fit there, which is going to be a whole bunch of this box, which is pretty good. Okay. Making progress. Mike's Murder. Joe Jackson. All right, I think maybe that will fit on the wall or be sellable on the wall. Oh, Deconstruction, that was pretty popular. I remember in the 90s. Billy B. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of just kind of more mediocre stuff in the trays, in the boxes, so I think it's time to cut down on that stuff. American Werewolf in Paris. I have 5 on that, though. that's kind of better too. Okay, so I have a few better ones. You know, usually we have $2 on just the random ones, $5 on the better ones. And then, like, you know, sky's the limit if it's a super valuable one, like a Nirvana tape or something like that. I don't think I have much of that left over, though. And usually that stuff we keep in the front anyway. Okay, that tray is pretty much full. Let's see if I can fit that handful to the wall. I actually want to remove just the top here. I felt like there was some better stuff in here. Okay, we got that. Try to fill up those lower spots. Yeah, one right there. One right there. It's kind of amazing. You don't realize it, but like just removing one or two into all these spaces, it ends up opening up so much space. And that's kind of, you know, true in general in collecting, is sometimes consolidating and using up little teeny bits of space ends up to a lot of space somewhere else. I have room for maybe like 5 more down there. And you kind of want to do that. You want to kind of consolidate and clean up your collection when you can, to add that space. Because that's the biggest problem, especially in New York City. The biggest problem with collecting is there's just not enough space for it. Most people run out of space pretty quickly. And that's, I know with my shop that limits a lot, because a lot of people come in and they buy like 3 or 4 things and they're like, I can't buy more than that. I don't have space for it. And they get stressed out about it. And it's kind of sad because, you know, New York City is so expensive for any kind of real estate, you know, rent for any kind of place. And then you end up having to pay $100, $150, $300 a month for a little storage space. And it's expensive. It's not, it's hard to be a collector in New York City. I mean, it's easy in some ways because there's a lot of access to a lot of really cool stuff. There's so many comic shops. Although 80s toys is one thing I don't see very often in the city, which is kind of frustrating because I love stuff from my childhood and can't get enough for myself or to restock the shop. My wife is always telling me I should just sell all the ones I get, but it's like I only get something every couple months. And it's only like 1 or 2 items. So I just like, I don't want to rely on that. If I could find a way to start taking little road trips and hunt and restock, then maybe I would do that. But I'd have to hire someone for that. Genesis, I'll put on the wall. Okay, this is just like a random catch-all because there's random just junk and stuff in here. Some broken tapes. Okay, so look at that. We cleared out a bin. I'm actually quite shocked by that. This is Bob Welch. Is that one of these loose tapes? No, it's not. I'm going to just put it in there in case I find the tape, but I might eventually just get rid of that. Random toy parts. I'll put in the random toy box, which I might need to get rid of this soon because I feel like it's getting messy or it's messy. Random toy parts. It's hard for me to toss things like this sometimes because this might be the piece you need to complete some 90s toy. And like, it's not matter. It might be super valuable. It might be a $20 piece. It might be nothing, but also might be someone's looking to complete it desperately. So yeah, I like to keep that stuff for that purpose. And it does happen kind of often that people pull parts out for things they need. And that makes me happy every time. All right, this is just dirty and dusty. Whew, my back is kind of killing me. Oh, I wanted to show you just while I'm in the front here. If you've been watching the comic channel, I cleared out all my Dark Horse doubles from the basement, and I put out a whole box. This box is full, so I've already sold, like maybe not the full box, but maybe that much Aliens and Predator and stuff. So this is all better, what I would say, like pop culture comics. Like this is the 4th issue from the first series. That's actually quite a nice Aliens book. We have The Mask, Aliens, Predator, RoboCop, Predator, more Aliens, Terminator. I had some Godzilla, but I think the Godzilla sold already. A Species, Resident Evil, Species. So I tried to pull out some. Oh, and Stranger Things. I think we've been selling a few of those, even though they're cheap, $3. They're not like collectible yet, but I think these are the kind of things that will have value long term. some Madman comics, Indiana Jones. I figured would be sellable, so I tried to pull out the most sellable ones we got there. I have a little stash of Buffy on the side here, which I think we've sold a lot already because it's only that much left, and I think it was like a much bigger handful. In fact, some of these aliens I can throw into this main box here since there's room. I put them on the side here because I didn't have enough room for a full box. I think I sold a copy of that. I love that cover. John Bolton cover. Beautiful cover. Okay. Oh, put that Madman. I think Dark Horse present. Is this? No, I had Doctor Strange with some Dark Horse back there. And then here, I think I put some Hellboy stuff, which also has been selling. I think it's, oh, Stranger Things I can move over. Move that over. It's already been mixed up a little bit. But as you can see, I kind of made a selection of Dark Horse stuff, but I've already sold probably about 20. So they're selling pretty good. I'm actually happy with that. I need to really just make a whole bunch more rows of comics here. Clear out the bottom a little bit, maybe put some weaker stuff underneath it. Okay, let me clear the dirt out of this box so I can fill it up with VHS. Okay, I'm going to take this box, fill it up with VHS tape so I can clear out the tray for CDs. I think. Oh yeah, VHS on the other side. Kind of jumping around, but it's kind of how my brain works. Where I got to do a little bit of different jobs here and there just so that I can do the final job I'm trying to get done. And that final job is to clear up the whole store. Okay, so... Oh wait, I moved a tray, didn't I? Where did I put that tray? I'm going back to there, but I realized I had a tray that I already moved over here. Yeah, so this tray, I'm going to empty out this tray into the box here. I think I can do that. Yeah, that works. Oh, there's some decent movies in here too. Yeah, I like having cool VHS. Some James Bond ones, which $7. That one's $5. So these ones are older ones, more collectible. Yeah, there's some cool Police Academy 2. $7, $7. That gives you kind of a better idea what these go for. This one needs to be sideways. It's so hard to figure out which way these go because they're backwards and forwards. Oh, this tray's dirty too. I gotta dump out the dirt. Okay, like that. Okay, that works. Okay. Okay, I got one tray of tapes. Or one box that needs to find a home. I'm gonna dump out, there's some dust in here that maybe just didn't get dumped out last time. Okay, I cleared out the dust from that tray. And purpose of this tray is to fill it up with CDs on the, like I basically want that shelf CDs, get rid of that, or not get rid of that box, convert that to a VHS box. Okay. Empty boxes, and like back here, I still have little random piles of things that were here when I had these shelves, and these were the newer shelves. I never completed the store. So like I should dig out and see what I have back there. There might be actually sellable merchandise kind of sitting in piles. But for now, we are going to, let's see, we're going to convert, if I can, yeah. In fact, convert this to CDs, and if there's enough room to empty out that as well, I'll do that because I would like to use this box for VHS. Although, no, I'm going to use that box for VHS. Okay, try to put them in the right order. Okay, got that. Just try to get them all in the right direction. Kind of a mess. Okay, I actually don't know if this kind of content's boring. Maybe just sorting through CD. I know some people love it. So I'm going to try it. But yeah, help me make really cool videos for, or, you know, content for you guys. Just let me know what you want to see in the store. If you want me to dig through any specific box or something, or if you want me to discuss any topics, if you have questions for me, like, give me some guidance. Because maybe I'll be, if I get, you know, 4 or 5 really awesome questions that I can answer during my, you know, weekly videos, then I can do them. I actually was really bummed out I didn't do a video last week. Like, I was going to try to do it, but I wasn't really feeling it. And I was getting stressed out thinking about doing a Whatnot show. I really don't want to do Whatnot, but I kind of have to because sales are not good enough for me to, like, I can pay my basic expenses, but I can't really do more content. I can't go to shows. I've missed out on, you know, every convention that I normally would go to. I didn't go to this year. I missed out on King Kong. I missed out on the Elite 11 show. I missed out on Billy's last show. I missed out on, well, I guess this last weekend was the Forest Hills yearly show. I missed out on that. Like, I'm missing out on a lot of events. There was, I think the Comic Station had their big dollar sale in the winter. I missed out on that. I'm missing out on a lot of things because I just don't have a budget to buy comics for the comic channel. And that kind of bums me out. So it's like, I got to do Whatnot. That's what I did for New York Comic Con last year. So I had it was great, actually, having New York Comic Con money. But I'm kind of stressed out because I don't know how good the selection of pops is left. I feel like there's not as much in here. People come in looking for specific things, and I don't have a lot of what people are looking for anymore. But at the same time, I still feel super overloaded with Funko Pops. Like, I feel like there's too many in here. I'd like to figure out a way to get more of them to sell. And the only way I can think of is Whatnot. Or, like, if I could restock again. But the only problem with restocking is if I'm only selling them on Whatnot, I'm going to have to pay 10, 12% in fees, and I have to sell everything 30% below PPG price. So the question is, or 50% in some cases. So the question is, how low do I have to sell them for? Right? If I can't sell them for a profitable price, if I have to sell them for 70%, and then after a discount, I'm making 50 to 60%, would I offer people 20%? Like, I have to do a little bit less than half of what I sell them for because they're not all selling. So a lot are going to go unsold. So what am I paying? 30% of PPG price, 20%? And most people kind of get mad at me when I say that. But PPG prices are way off. There's so many things on PPG that say $20. You look on eBay and they're not selling for 10. So this is for VHS now, and that's the catch-22 of buying more pops. I don't know what price I can pay for them. Okay, that tray's half emptied. Can I fit? No, that tray's half empty. I think I can fit this whole box into there. I feel like I have to flip them backwards and forwards, but I get exhausted trying to fix CDs because I don't sell them for a ton of money. I mean, I do try to get $5 off some of them, $3 on most of them, but I don't want to sit here organizing them all the time. It just wears me out because it's not like a huge money maker. In fact, you saw last year or a year and a half ago, I just got rid of every CD in this shop. It was literally like a whole carload. I traded my friend Jim for a box of comics, and so this is all we have left. And even this, I don't want to organize. It's not like I can rely on, $100 in CDs a year or a week. I mean, $200, $500. Like, I'm lucky to sell $10 worth a week, maybe 20 to 30 on a good time. But CDs, there's some demand for them, and I have a lot more people asking for them. But I feel like most people are looking for very specific CDs and not just kind of a general purchase, which is good. Back in the day, CDs were general, right? Any kind of popular CD someone would probably buy eventually. Now people are looking for some obscure CD that they can't buy online, which means I don't have that. If you can't find it online, what's the chance of me having it? If the whole entire world cannot supply that one CD that you're looking for, then the chances of me having that CD are pretty much nothing. So it's not like it used to be where people were just kind of general buyers. They're just looking for music in general. It's more like they're looking for something really obscure from a band they really love that no one's heard of. And so that makes it a little bit harder to sell CDs. So that's why I'm not, again, I haven't really restocked too many CDs. I just have 2 or 3 boxes of them. Not 2 boxes, actually. Whereas lately, DVDs have been selling really well, and it's just general. Anything halfway decent, people are buying. I really like selling DVDs right now. I feel there's a while there where I just kept overstocking to the point where it was overflowing and just too many. But I feel like the last 6 months or so, they just keep selling. You know, whatever CDs we have, DVDs we have out, people are buying from. So I love it. All right, this isn't perfect. It needs more work, but I emptied out 1 box that I can use. So I have 3 or 4 boxes I can use for VHS. I do want to get the VHS now is another story. I'm selling them well, but it's also because I have such a great selection. I'm not selling out though. That's the thing. I feel like there's a lot of these that are going to sit around here for a while. Okay, I can use those boxes to organize the VHS, but I don't know. I'm a little lost right now. Okay, let's go back to the cassette tapes. That's the main job. I wanted to get those done. So we cleared out the 1 box. Thrilled with the 1 box. I don't think I can clear out enough for this big major box here. So I had 2 more I can put on the wall. So that's 5. If you want to know how if you know someone has ADHD and they're working on 12 things where there's piles everywhere when they're like hyper focused on things and you see them like doing 100, that's kind of what you jump around doing different jobs because different things need to get done to help you get to the one thing you want to get done. That's how my brain works, at least. So I had to jump around basically just so I can get back to the cassette tapes. Okay. That tray's done. That tray is done. Okay. That tray is done. Okay, those trays are done. That shelf is full of trays now for people to dig through. This is trash. I'm going to use this box for trash. This is just the artwork to the game. Like, it's hard for me to want to get rid of artwork because I don't know what that game's worth just on its own. So that might actually be very collectible. And I love games. I like trying to put games together. These are lids to record boxes. That's what I use for cassette tapes. I actually really love those as cassette trays. Like, this is the perfect size for cassettes. But I don't want to buy entire record boxes just for the lids, basically. Seems a little crazy. Oh, okay. I got this tray is full. Put that here. Nope, that's a little tight. Put that up here. By the window here, I have a bunch of trays. Okay. Fit a few here. I feel like I want to empty out 1 or 2. Maybe this box, because that looks like a better VHS box. The main thing is to get rid of the big catch-all boxes. That would clean this area up a ton. And I think it's better if someone can pull out a tray and kind of look at it like this instead of having to dig through a giant box. It's better. It's not perfect, especially because it's not organized in any way, but it's a little easier to look through a flat tray than a big pile tray. Or even if I did a whatnot show, if I could do like 20 for $20 sales or something, or 5 for $5 and let people pick them out. Okay, that tray. Okay. These are just the right weight that my back doesn't hurt too much when I move them, so I'm actually happy with that. I think that's about the most I can move at the moment. Okay. Could fit 5 or 6 in here. So I'm going to try to empty out some of this little side tray here. Okay, that. I did have one whatnot sale 3 years ago, I think, where I found some cassette tapes I hadn't gone through, which I thought I had gone through, and it had amazing stuff in it. So I have some people still on whatnot that show up looking for more of that kind of stuff, because I think that was, for them, probably one of the greatest nights on whatnot. You know how you have those moments where you bought stuff and it was just like way better than anything else you experienced? I think that's what happened to a lot of cassette people, because I was selling them for good prices. I was willing to sell them for half eBay price or less. It was all kind of paid for stuff that had already made a huge profit, so I was just happy to make anything. And I had paid 10 cents a tape or something like that. So selling, Nirvana tapes for $10 or $20 was okay with me. I wasn't like trying to squeeze every cent out of them. So people were kind of freaking out. Every time I would pull out another stack of like Foo Fighters and Soundgarden and some metal and other really interesting tapes. I had another show where my record guy gave me a stack of tapes, but he wanted full-on fair market value for them. And I tried to do that show, and everyone's like, oh, no, I'm not buying from you. That's full value. That's the problem with Whatnot. Sometimes people just want really good deals, which if it's something you pay cheap, Whatnot's really good for moving volume. So that's a good way to, if you're willing to sell a little bit under market, it's a great marketplace. But you got to do it in volume and make a little bit less per item. If you could sell things for close to full like eBay prices, Whatnot would be such a more profitable place to sell at. I'd be there every day probably. But because I have to sell stuff for 20-30% below market most of the time, or below, PPG, or below even eBay price. Like people will be like, oh, PPG's 20, eBay, it's only going for 15. Can you take 10? Like that kind of stuff makes it really, really hard to make a profit on Whatnot. So for me, Whatnot is more a good like clearance place where I sell stuff close to what I paid, or it's a good marketplace if I just need some cash to buy another collection. Because if you sell stuff you've had for sale for, let's say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever you make at that point is profit. Because you've already, made your profit on whatever you bought, or you already lost the money you made on that. So it's at that point, there's nothing else you can do. It's just sitting around. So whatever you sell is basically profit. So it's not horrible to sell stuff at lower than market value, because you're converting it into profit at that point, or you're basically raising cash so that you can buy the next thing, and then the next thing you're going to sell off a good chunk profitably, and then whatever's left over you have to deal with. And so that's one good thing with Whatnot. But the problem with that is now that I'm running out of stuff, I can't go and buy new stuff, because Whatnot like that only works if let's say I buy a collection of Pops worth $10,000 and I pay like $5 for it. If I can sell $7,000 in the store at full value, and then that last $3,000, if I have to blow that out at like half price, that works for me. But if I have to blow it out at half price as soon as I buy it, there's no profit. So it makes no sense to buy a collection just for Whatnot. That's kind of why I'm not buying collections right now, because it's not selling fast enough in the store. I know in Whatnot it would sell really, really well, but at a discount. So I'm not rushing to buy new collections. So yeah, I'm kind of in a catch-22. I don't know if I should be buying collections or not, or just keep working on the other things, which, right now, other stuff is not technically selling better than Pops. I still have enough Pop buyers. I probably make more revenue on Pops than anything else. But it's still too low of a level for me to be out there buying collections. So I'm working on getting more comics in the shop. I might sell $500, $700 worth of comics in a week, which is pretty decent. That's actually a lot more than it was a year or two ago. But it's not, $500 a week in sales is not enough to live on, because that's just the revenue. That doesn't include the cost. And for most comics I'm selling, the duplicates, I probably paid a lot more because I'm keeping a lot more. So I don't really buy comics to be profitable. I just buy them to be as cheap as possible, and then I sell off duplicates to kind of cover as much of the expenses I can do with. So yeah, I'm expanding comics, but again, I'm not really buying comics to sell, because they're not necessarily the most sellable, easy to sell thing. People really just want the best of the best when it comes to comics. And that's the thing, when you can sell the cheapest stuff and it sells well, that's when it's easy to sell something. That's why Pops were easy, because it used to be, I would buy and sell almost everything I would get. It didn't matter what it was. It was very rare to have, it had to be just a really failed line to not sell at all. Whereas today, it's more like I buy a lot of stuff and it sits and it sits and it sits. And stuff sitting around for a very long time is not, doesn't work for me. So yeah, I'm kind of lost right now, actually. I don't know what to do. Honestly, all I really, really want to do is make videos, because that's my favorite. And especially the comic videos. The comic videos in the basement are bringing me so much joy right now. I'm getting through a lot of stuff that's been sitting around for a couple of years. Unprocessed wholesale lots, because a lot of times I just buy it when someone offers it to me, like $50 per long box, And then I don't even deal with it for sometimes it's years. So I'm pulling out stuff I bought years ago. I still have probably like 50 to 70 more long boxes to process, which is fun. But the thing is, I have to sort it, get it organized, and it's not all necessarily sellable stuff. A lot of the stuff might have to go in the dollar bin. Like I just showed you the Dark Horse. That was only about a third of the Dark Horse I pulled out. So that what I pulled out was super sellable, but the other 2/3 are more common, not as interesting stuff. So it's not as sellable. So I'll get that in the store eventually, but I'm not rushing to get in the store because I know I'm just kind of wasting my time at the moment if I priced all that up. Plus, I ran out of bags, so I was trying to triage just the best sellable stuff. I just placed a $1,000 BCW order, wholesale order, so I have enough bags and boards for about 7,000 to 8,000 comics. I got a whole bunch of short boxes because I'm trying to retire long boxes as much as possible. I hate them. Keep hurting my back, and I kind of want to avoid that. So I'm trying to make it a little bit easier to deal with comics. And I bought manga boxes because I want to get my manga collection more organized so I can work on the Japan Haul Time channel a little bit. Okay. I feel like we're going to empty out that box. So as you can see, as I condense these trays, I'm actually clearing out several boxes of tapes. So it shows that I've probably sold... Oh, in the last year, since the last time I ordered, I probably sold 5 of these trays, maybe? So was it 100 tapes? Maybe more than that. That doesn't even feel like that much, 100 tapes. But it definitely, as I'm consolidating, you can see I'm clearing out boxes. I cleared out that one bigger box, which would have been completely full. I've cleared out this box, which I really want to clear out that box. So I might reload that box up. But for now, I'm just trying to get these trays at 100% full. Just so that, you know, I'm using the space as efficiently as possible. Okay, that one's full. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of this, and then I'll work and get that full as well. Okay, that's good, that's good. Okay, let's get these. Okay, we're almost done with these trays. Okay. Yeah, no, I felt bad I didn't do a video last week because I know you guys are getting into the weekly videos. And I had multiple people even on the comic streams like, when's the next shop video? So I know, oh, Simply Red should be on the wall. I know you guys were enjoying these, so I got to try to find, I'm kind of running out of jobs to do. I got a lot done last week. Clearing out the big messier parts. Those are the things I really wanted to get done. So okay, I'm going to have to put that down here. Got to fit a couple more on there. Okay, so that box is empty. This tray I'm going to just leave here, but I do want to get it full if I can. Okay, I think that will be empty by the time I'm done going through these. Right. Is kind of backwards and forwards. I'm not going to go too crazy with it because I'm getting tired and I just want to get the boxes out of the way so I can have this all kind of put away so that I have more room for the VHS tapes. No, that's a little bit full. Okay, that tray's full. Let's do one tray. I can even tell, like, this is my friend Jim's handwriting, so he helped me at some point in the past just organize all this. But that was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. These trays are a little bit more full. They're probably a little bit harder to get to. And with this many tapes, a lot of people, once they go through like half of them and they pulled out 4 or 5 to listen to, that's good enough. Because most people are like 4 or 5, they're like, oh, that's enough music. They're not really like completionists. They're not like Jason. My friend Jason, when he goes to that comic shop, he literally has to look through every box there. Doesn't matter. He has to get through every box. So I honestly love going comic hunting with my friend Jason because most people look for like 10 minutes and then they're good to go because they found the 2 things they want. But, you know, if there's dollar bins or cheap books, Jason wants to get as many books that he needs from his runs. So it's actually, I need someone to do that with tapes, basically. Every once in a while, I have someone that does that with records where they'll come and they'll look through every single record and they might buy a stack of 30 records. I love when people do that. You know, 30 records might be a $100 order purchase, $150 purchase. So that's one of the best things for me. Oh, wait, we did the top, right? The top is done. Yeah, top is done. So we're just down to those 2 trays. Okay. All right, making progress. All right, this one I'm going to pull out because I don't think I can get to the others if I stack it up too tight. This tray is ripping. I'm going to tape that, actually. Okay, you just want to be ready to go yourself. Okay, got it. Okay, got the tape. Just fix this box up. So it's just want to make it so it's not as flopping with the rip. Yeah, definitely. We're consolidating. We're making a lot of space here. Like this tray back here, I think will be almost empty, or at least half empty by the time we're done. Actually, really happy with that. You know, if I had just really good tapes too, I wouldn't have this many left. The only reason why I have this many left is not because I have a great selection. It's because it's just kind of junkier stuff that people don't want. Oh, didn't realize I didn't push them over. Okay, actually I have a lot more room in that tray. So yeah, it feels like it's time to kind of bulk sell these if someone wants to pay a quarter piece for bulk. 100 for 25 plus shipping. You just be like, yeah, give me a bulk pile. I don't want to pick and choose. If you want to pick and choose, maybe $1 a piece. Just, it's not that I don't want to sell them for a quarter pick and choose. It's just that pick and choose is a lot of time. So if you want me to dedicate time picking and choosing, then maybe $1 a piece. I'll do it on a whatnot show. At a quarter a piece, I'd just rather just sell them. If someone will take like 100 for 25 plus shipping. Graham Parker, I'll put on the wall. Okay. Okay, Arnie Shaw. Okay, that tray is full. Okay, one more tray to consolidate. No, 2 more trays. Okay, 2 more trays. Hopefully that's enough room to get rid of that last box. Okay, would like to get these done. This would be the one big job done today, which would be pretty cool, actually. That's the problem. During the week, I'm so busy doing other things, and like being slow in the store kind of demotivates me. So I'm not getting any of this done. So doing the videos actually helps me get these little tedious jobs done that normally might take me years to want to do it. Whereas if I'm making content out of it, I'm doing something that's really, really fun to me, that motivate me to do something that is not fun. I know some people love to organize it. It's not really I love to organize, but my own stuff, things that I want to enjoy. The problem with organizing stuff in the store is that it's going to get messed up in a week, and then I got to do it again. And just like, it's hard to motivate for something that you have to do again if it, just becomes a weekly project. I don't want a weekly project. Like, I don't want my life sorting cassette tapes once a week. That's really doesn't. Right now, I just want things that kind of bring me joy and try to make a little bit of money while doing it, so that I can do more of the things I want that bring me joy, basically. I really don't want a job. And this becomes just, instead of like a passion, it becomes a job. And I don't want a job. I have no desire to have a job. I want to do things I love to do. Like doing the video itself, that's what I have passion for. So the video itself is what I want to do. And that's one reason a lot of people offer the help. I said this many times. It's not so much getting the work done that matters to me. It's being able to make videos is what matters to me. So right now, I'm using getting the work done to do videos. If you want to help me when I'm not doing videos and just come in and organize, I probably won't be there. But like if you come in and shop and you organize a little bit, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm going to enjoy that. But I don't want to, like if I'm doing videos, I don't need someone here organizing with me. Because then I'm not doing videos. I'm just hanging out. And I don't have time or energy just to hang out with people. That's like not my normal mental state. All right, this box will be empty. I'm putting a couple of tapes in sideways. Because there's just a little teeny bit of room that I can do that. I'm going to do that just so I can get rid of this one tray. All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so it's one dirty, dusty box. I'll dump that out, and then I can use that for VHS tapes. I'm gonna slide this over because I don't want to. With my back, it's not so much the lifting up and down; it's the sliding and twisting that is kind of what makes it hurt. Okay, one more here. Okay, so yeah, that's better. If I don't have to lift up and over. then it doesn't hurt as much. Okay, that's that. Just that. Okay, oh, and there's some less useful trays underneath that are not full. I don't think I can get to those yet. Okay, that is all clean and condensed. Happy with that. Okay. I can't really get down there. There. Maybe I should push these over and put some tapes down there. I might do that just because they're all over the place. Not the cassette tapes, the VHS tapes. Yeah, like this box right here. Let's move this all over these games. Did we not finish that shelf? So I have one shelf down there that we never pulled out all the board games. I'll deal with that another day. Okay, that right there. Put that out of the way. Not the most organized, but better than it was. Okay, that box is empty. Oh, I was going to use that box for the bigger ones, but for now I'm just going to put this here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to fill that up with some of the rentals and put that in the underneath the records. Yeah, just take, will these fit? Yes, perfect. Like, these have been slowly selling, a couple here and there. People just buy them as like a cool nostalgia piece because it's only 2 episodes. It's probably not the most efficient way to buy these series. You can buy pretty much complete dropping them. You can buy pretty much complete TV series of these like 1970s dramas and sitcoms for $10 on DVD at like a flea market. It's so cheap to get full series now. Not the $20 in 1993 money to get 2 episodes a month, basically. Okay, that's one little tray. Not all of them, but a few more of them to put away. Happy about that. Okay. Can't wait till the short boxes come in so I can retire some of the long boxes. Okay, a little bit more put away. We got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total boxes over here, but 6 of the old VHS, I think. And and then 1 random hard to deal with box. Okay, we got a lot more. I'm gonna stack that up a little bit. Would like to get, see that I have a whole empty shelf that's not being used right there. Once it's all organized, I can have more stuff ready to sort through, dig through, sell. But for now, okay, we cleaned that up a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's better. I still want to move these to the front, but that's when my back is feeling a little bit better. That box I do kind of want to fix, but that's going to be another day because my back hurts. Would be nice to clear out that box that's on the floor. I'm not sure how to do that. Do we have... Wait, I got to look over here. Yeah, I do have 1 box of those figures. I don't think people know what they are. I think they're kind of neat, actually. If anyone wants some pop, it's these figures from 2008. So they're, 18 years old. Art toys. These are going to be way smaller print runs than the... Can't really see in the box. The boxes are open, though, so you can kind of open them and see what's in there. So this looks like this little samurai guy. I think these are cool. They're way more limited than any of the modern stuff that people are going crazy over. I think they're neat. They just never caught on. I can sell those for $5 a piece if anyone wants a bunch. I can even look and make sure you don't get duplicates if you want all different ones. That's a MetaZoo box. All right, I'm losing steam. I don't know what else to do. It's not... There's like a lot of little jobs, but nothing exciting. At least I don't think it's exciting. Maybe you guys want to see it. I think that's it for me for today. I'm really tired. My back does really hurt, and it's kind of hard to motivate when you're not feeling the best, just mentally and physically. I think to make this more fun, though, I am going to put my Pop Walks comic story into this video right after this clip. super awesome video that no one watched. I had like a couple hundred views on that video. I really would like Pop Walks to, you know, get more viewers and whatnot. But for now, I might start adding, I might do the Pop Walks videos there first. And then a few weeks later, add them to some of the Pop Fun to Play videos, just so I have a little bit more content on this channel. Because I want the channel to grow again. I would love to get to 100,000 followers just so that I can get that plaque. I've been doing this for 11 years. I want a YouTube plaque. I would like to have one finally. Okay, make sure you leave comments and all the things you want me to talk about next time, so I'm motivated to do a video next week. All right, appreciate you guys. Now, let's hear my comic collecting story. Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful day. It's about 73 degrees out, and we're taking a walk to Greenpoint. The goal today is to see if we can find any sidewalk sales, yard sales, garage sales, that kind of thing, while taking a nice, beautiful walk in this beautiful weather. And while we're walking there, I'm going to tell you my comic story. I think that's the goal of today, is to tell you my comic story. Okay, so let's go back. I was born in 1976, so that's where my story begins. One of my earliest memory is being a toddler and having like these nightmares, I guess, horror nightmares of this ghastly grayish ghoulish guy in a blue outfit with like red highlights. And I don't know where I saw the image from, but I would wake up often with these nightmares. Then when I got older and I started collecting comic books, I realized it was Amazing Spider-Man issue 101, the first appearance of Morbius. That issue somehow got in my head as a kid. I don't know if my brother had that issue or if I just saw the image of that cover somewhere, but it was that cover that kind of created the nightmares for me. So I would say technically my earliest comic memory, but I don't remember seeing the comic. I just remember seeing the aftermath. Oh, there's a farmer's market right here. I think that's every weekend. Come back later. I usually don't shop at the farmer's market. I like the idea of the farmer's market though. So yeah, it's a nice day. So everyone's out and about having a fun day. So I'm assuming there'll be a couple of sidewalk sales or something. All right, so let's fast forward. When I was about 4 years old, my mom got pregnant again with my sister. So we moved into a bigger house in a different neighborhood. And I must have been like 5 or 6, but I have this memory of my brother really excited to take me to the local bookstore to buy comics. I don't remember my mom or dad coming with us. My brother's 5 years older, so if I was 5 or 6, he would have been 10, 11, 12, something like that. So in my mind, my mom could probably correct it, is I think my mom and dad were trying to get us out of their hair. So they probably gave my brother like $5 to go buy comics and bring me there. And oh, there's people having like a fashion show or a sidewalk sale or something in the park. Yeah, I think it's a little sale in the park. It looks like new stuff though, not junk. I want my junk. So I remember him being super enthusiastic to bring me to the bookstore and be like, Sean, you gotta pick out a comic book. So I remember going, looking around, and what caught my eye was a Tom and Jerry. I mean, I love comics. Not comics, cartoons as a little child. So I saw a comic book with Tom and Jerry. I was like, oh, Tom and Jerry. I love Tom and Jerry. So I remember it had like a yellow background, Tom and Jerry on it. I don't remember much other than that detail. So I looked back and there's 3 issues from 1978 to 1981 that have a yellow background, which I'll show you right now. And I'm assuming it was a new release. So, or like a recent release that they still had. So I'm assuming it's probably one of the 1980 or 81 issues. That would make the most sense. Now my goal is to find find all those issues, honestly. I haven't picked them up yet. I haven't gone out of my way to pick them up, but I figure it's on my list. So that's when I was like 4 or 5. Earliest memory. I don't remember anything that happened with the comic. I don't remember reading it, doing anything with it. I just remember going with my brother and he was enthusiastic for me to buy some comics. So I like that. That was a fun feeling, right? It was like my first comic adventure, first Comic Con. So then fast forward to mid 80s, like 1985. I remember going into my brother's room to play with his stuff. It's probably annoying. It's probably an annoying little kid messing around with his stuff. Let's go this way. It's a little bit less crowded. And he had comics that I thought were absolutely cool. He had Vigilante comics, #1. I thought was really dope. It was like this badass guy with a couple guns with the cool, you know, yellow border and whatnot. And then maybe like a year later, early '85, I remember seeing the first Punisher issue, the painted cover, the one with the he's got the 2 guns ablazing, and I just thought they were cool. I looked up to my brother. He's the older brother. He was the cool guy, right? Because I was just a little kid, so I thought his stuff was cool. So I was just like, I started kind of craving comic books and like thinking this is something I want. And then eventually, I don't know if I like begged him to sell me a couple of his comic books or he offered it, but I remember I bought 2 comic books, a G.I. Joe 21 and an Uncanny X-Men 199. The G.I. Joe 21 I just thought looked really, really cool. Again, guns ablazing, you got Snake Eyes in the cover, one of my favorite G.I. Joe characters. And the X-Men issue just looked cool with the big orange phoenix all over the whole cover. He sold them to me, I think for $1 each, was kind of high. I didn't have money at the time, so he gave me a payment plan. And he said if I didn't pay him within like 2 weeks or something like that, I owed him 10 cents a day. I thought, as a kid, I thought he meant I would start paying him 10 cents until I paid him the $1. He meant 10 cents interest. So like 6 months later on family vacation, we were getting ice cream. He's like, you owe me $28. That's when I learned about usury and all that. It's still fun. It was a little family argument, but that's fine. I still have those amazing comics, which I absolutely love. Now, I got those comics when I was, I think, about 9 years old, and I still couldn't learn to read because I have dyslexia, and it was very difficult. And like the only thing I really want to do is watch cartoons and my shows and like find joy in the things I like to do. And I wasn't really looking for, I wasn't like reading. I had no interest in that. I had interest in the comics though because they're full of pictures. I see, I think there's a couple of people selling over here we can look at real quickly. Just anything neat. Prints. Oh, some comic stuff. I think those guys are set up there regularly, so not really a garage sale, more of just like vendors that set up all the time. So we're gonna go this way for garage sales. Maybe we'll go to the main road and then look for garage sales. So because I had a hard time learning to read, that G.I. Joe 21 comic, no words, you can read it just by looking at the pictures, that was such an important comic to me. All right, I'm just waiting in the crosshair so I don't get hit by a car. There's a lot of, it's like 5 different sections coming together. So I'm trying to think, guys. So I got those 2 comics for my brother. I don't think I was picking them up yet at the comic shop. I do remember coming home from school one day and my mom would babysit at least one kid. Like, after school he would come to our house and she would watch him until his parents could pick him up. And I remember coming home from school and he had G.I. Joe number 49 in his hands. And I was like, oh, what's that? Where did you get that? Like, I didn't think about, that time as a kid going to the shop to buy new comics. I didn't think about new comics. My brother had comics. That's where they came from. So I was like, oh, where did you get that? And he told me it was at the local bookstore. So I was like, oh, immediately, I gotta go get that comic. So I took a walk over to the bookstore and I picked up my G.I. Joe number 49. I think it was 75 cents. And it was towards the end of the cycle, so it actually had been out for a few weeks. It wasn't a new release that week. So the immediate week, I got G.I. Joe 50, and I was like, oh my gosh, these come out all the time. You keep going and you get them. So I thought that was a really, really, really neat thing. Okay, we're a little bit crowded. We gotta find some space to walk and talk. It's not super crowded. So from that week on, I started going to the bookstore every week to get the new comics. At the time, I had a $2 a week allowance. $2 was enough to buy 2 comics for 75 cents each. And now I'd have 50 cents over or left over. So that's where I learned to, they had a 50-cent bin, and that's where I learned, oh, maybe it's cool to dig for discounted stuff. Now, 50 cents back then was not that discounted, considering new comics were 75 cents. But I would get one older comic with my 2 new comics. And that probably went on for 6 months, maybe. maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, but I knew that wasn't gonna do because it wasn't enough. I was missing out. I was having this hard decision of, you know, I can only get the 2 new comics, but with G.I. Joe, X-Men, and let's see, Daredevil all came out at the same time. I couldn't handle that. That's too much. I couldn't afford all 3. So I remember like negotiating with my dad to see if I could get more, and finally we came up with $10 a week. And with $10 a week, I could go to a comic shop, pick up my 2 or 3. The main issues, I bought all the new G.I. Joes as they came out. I bought Uncanny X-Men when it came out, New Mutants, X-Factor, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, and some of the new universe stuff since that was coming out new. Like I remember seeing them and it was started with issue number 1, thinking how cool that was, that it's a whole new series I could get in from the beginning. So I would buy maybe 7 to 10 new issues, and then eventually after like a year, I was picking up the Nom, Punisher, and Daredevil. Now the reason why I started grabbing Daredevil was that with my newfound $10 a week, I could buy my 2 or 3 new issues that I needed to get. $2 or $3, I would have $7 left over. But you know what that meant? It meant I could go to the 50-cent bin and get, what, 12 more comics? All right, let's go this way. It's a little bit less crowded. So basically, I would go with my $10 a week and I'd come home with 20 comics or 15 comics. Which to me was amazing. I would have this whole stack of really cool stuff to read. And so I fell in love with finding those older comics. That's why I started buying Daredevil. I started buying the old issues from the 50-cent bin, and then I started buying the new issues as they came out. And then I would buy, let's see, Defenders, like the Bill Sienkiewicz covers. Sweet, very beautiful covers. I love the painted covers he did. So I would buy those. And then, I see a little sale over here. A Marvel 2-in-1, absolutely loved Marvel 2-in-1. All the fun adventures with the Thing, all the problem solving, the crime drama solving. I love those, so I grabbed those. And there's a lot of things like that I could grab at 50 cents, or I would grab miniseries if I saw the 4 issues. I remember buying like the complete, I forget the name of the series. Anything cool over here? Okay, no books or anything. Mostly looking for the books. So I was buying a lot of comics. So I remember it was still before I learned to read when I was 10, I think. That summer maybe is when I started. So it must have been a month or 2 where I was accumulating a lot of comics, but I hadn't really learned to read very well yet. And I remember just bringing in like a white bag full of comics into my school. And we would have like an hour quiet time on mats or something like that. Not mats, on the carpet, I guess. Which is kind of weird for, what grade is that? 3rd grade? 4th grade? I forget how old you are when you're 10. Or what grade. So I would bring in my bag of comics and I shared with everyone. I really enjoyed sharing my comic love with the kids in the class. But I wouldn't share G.I. Joe 21. That was my special comic because that's the one I could read without the words. So that one was like no-go for anyway. People would want to read it. I'm like, no, I'm reading this one. And I would just flip through that one over and over and over and over again. I love that issue. And that issue comes back later on in the story. So, loving comics. Another thing I think with my dad willing to give me $10 a week instead of $2, I have a theory. I got to ask him to verify. But I'm assuming I was having a hard time reading, but I was really getting excited for comics. And so I'm guessing his thought was, oh, if he's really excited for things to read, let me encourage that. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. So that summer into this fall, I guess, my parents hired a tutor to help me learn to read. And she's a very, very wonderful tutor. I really appreciate her because like before learning to read, I had no interest in reading, right? It was just something other people did. I occupied my time watching my favorite cartoons, favorite shows. And like that was so important to me. It was even the point where when I guess I graduated elementary school that year. No, 88 is, I forget. For some reason, my parents bought me a TV when I was 10 years old. My own TV that I could watch. I must have been getting into fights too much with my siblings because I wanted to watch my cartoons and shows. I needed to watch them. It was like, if I didn't get to watch them, I didn't get to like de-stress, turn off my brain. So they were important. So anyway, watching those shows are important. Reading the comics, or reading in general, really wasn't that important to my mind. But once I started reading the comics and I started falling in love with those stories, I realized I love comics. Comics are great. So my tutor would give me comics as well. I remember she gave me a G.I. Joe 35 with the dreadnoughts on the cover. I thought that thing was super dope. I like G.I. Joe a lot. I like the really cool painted covers and whatnot. And so I also have all these memories of going to that local bookstore once, maybe a month. I'd go weekly, but once a month I would ask them if they had certain G.I. Joe issues because I wanted to fill in my run. So I'd be, I think G.I. Joe 17 was the one I couldn't find, and they never got. I did that for a joke. I went with Jason and a couple other friends to my hometown last year, I think, or 2 years ago. And I had to ask the person at the counter if they had G.I. Joe 17. She's like, what are you talking about? It's so funny because they used to have back issues like on the upstairs, so you could look at the 50-cent bins, but they had the like an online catalog kind of thing or something. Not online, like a mail order catalog. So they would have a lot of the back issues just put away for filling in orders and whatnot. Okay, so that's the 86. I was buying comics weekly, and then I think around 86, maybe 87. My mom started taking myself and my sister to Cape Cod every summer for a month, which, having the autistic ADHD brain of mine was boring because there's no TV, there's nothing there. It was just a disconnect, which today I appreciate. Back then, it would drive me a little bit crazy. But at Cape Cod, they had a flea market, and I thought the flea market was really, really cool. And my mom would rent out a house from a friend from the school I went to, where my mom would watch this little antique store that she had in the garage attached to the house. So for cheap rent, my mom would watch for a month the antique store. So, my sister and I would have to do stuff, but the lady who owned the house basically said, do you want to help me sell one day at the flea market? And she would give me 10% of what she sold. I think she sold about $180 that day. I made 18 bucks. That was exciting. You mean you can sell stuff and make money? And so, through her lens, I kind of started learning the love of buying and selling things. So, I made $18. And I remember the next summer, I was like, she was going to have a garage sale at the house by the antique mall. So I was like, I want to sell in the garage sale. So I actually printed up a whole bunch of greeting cards on my Commodore 64. I'd print out the clip art or whatever on the front. And I was selling, I don't know what I was selling for, $1 each, $2 each. Printed out maybe 20 of them because that's all the paper I had. I brought them with me. I set up at that garage sale and I sold them all. Now, I don't know if the people buying them were just, they saw this 10-year-old kid or 11-year-old kid that they wanted to help out, or if they thought they were cool. But I sold those cards, and that was kind of thrilling to me. I had an extra, I was getting my $10 a week allowance, plus I had an extra 18 from, the year before I probably would have spent it. But I had the extra money from selling the cards, probably like 20 or 30 bucks. So I kind of fell in love with having the extra money to do the things that, the collecting I love. So the following summer, I was like, I want to sell at the flea market. I asked my mom, I was like, can we sell at the flea market? And she's like, all right, we can do that. So I remember bringing in a box of comics, some random toys. Basically, I started doing garage sales or porch sales in my house a couple times a year. So I fell in love with the process of buying and selling. So I basically started selling comics. I got to the point by the late 80s, I would ask my dad to take me to comic shows, little local comic shows, not to buy, but to sell. So I'd bring my box of comics, I would sell, it might have been $20 for the table, sell $150 for the comics, and that was exciting to me. $150 in 1980s money, that was a lot of money for a kid. So by the late 80s, I started buying, speculation books. Now, I was a Marvel kid. I didn't really buy DC. I wasn't really a DC person until the first Batman movie came out, and that's when I fell die hard into Batman fandom. But because of that, I would buy the Marvel spec books, but not the DC one, so I didn't buy the Death of Superman. Although I did buy, no, I bought the Legends of the Dark Knight, but that came out after the Batman movie. So I did buy all the different colorways of that, which was like 8 of them. But yeah, I bought Silver Surfer 50. I bought like 8 of those. Not 8, 4 of them maybe. It was a stack. It feels like 8, but it was probably like 4 of them. I bought 2 or 3 of the Glow in the Dark Ghost Rider. I bought, trying to think, oh, the Venom Lethal Protector. I bought like 5 copies of that. I thought that thing was gonna be worth a lot. I bought, I remember a few times, by the late 80s too, there was a comic shop that also opened up in the neighborhood. So I switched over from, what happened was in Cape Cod, I missed X-Men 209. And back then, it's not like I could just go and get the missing issue. I was really upset about that because I was enjoying the story. I loved 208. I wanted 209. I wasn't able to get it. Cape Cod did have like a candy, slushy newsstand kind of store. And they didn't get it, or they didn't have it when I was there. So I missed out on that issue. So like right after that, a comic shop opened up in my neighborhood, and the comic shop had a pull list. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get the pull list because I didn't want to miss an issue again. So I started a pull list. The other thing I did too is I wanted to get more comics for my money. And I wasn't buying them to be, 9/8 candidates. I was buying them to read them and enjoy them. So I ended up subscribing to, I remember I subscribed to Daredevil, Punisher, and I think New Mutants. And I remember just putting it on my calendar, like when they were supposed to arrive, and like waiting in the mail for my folded over comic. And I think those were $5 for a year subscription. Oh, that also was when the price went up to $1 a issue, so I just didn't want to pay $1 a issue. $12 a year just felt like a lot of money. So for $5 instead of $12, you could get a yearly subscription. So I subscribed to at least 2 or 3. I don't know why I didn't subscribe to more. I thought I saw that there was going to be like a flea market over this way. We'll find out if there's anything going on right here. Okay, so let's see, late 80s, I was getting my pull list. I remember a couple times I didn't pick up the pull list right away, whether I was in Cape Cod or other reasons. I had to miss a couple weeks, and like certain issues would come out that were hot, and he'd be like, are you sure you want that? I'm like, yes, I want my New Mutants number 87 or 98. It's one of those two that had come out and it was like hot right away. I was like, yes, I want my Amazing Spider-Man 360, New Carnage issue, whatever that was. So like, I was thankful I had the pull list because those like rare comics I sold out real quick, I had them. I got them. So I didn't have to miss out, which was pretty cool. So I collected comics, read comics, enjoyed comics, bought and sold comics throughout middle school, elementary into middle school. And then when I got to high school, I came, my best friend from high school, I met in high school. So we started geeking out kind of on the comic artists, Todd McFarlane and all that stuff. So I found like a new love for comics through the art than the story. As a kid, it's all about the stories. I was reading G.I. Joe. I was reading, Punisher. I was reading the Nom. But by the early 90s, I was appreciating the art. So like, Amazing Spider-Man, this is cool. Todd McFarlane, this artwork is gorgeous. The Jim Lee X-Men issues, 248, like, that's cool. So we'd geek out on, like, he wasn't my friend was not a comic collector. I was, but he started appreciating the art of certain artists. So we kind of geeked out together on it. And like, I would get issues so that he could check them out and whatnot. All right, I guess we're gonna just loop around a little bit, see if we see any sales or anything over here. I don't know if there's sales. I thought I saw on Craigslist 1 or 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, early 90s. Okay, so geeking out with my friends. So then my parents split up. They got divorced. And because of that, I end up moving from my hometown with my mom got remarried. So we moved to Dover, New Jersey, which was my mom's hometown. And there there was no comic shop. So I kind of had to stop collecting comics. I was also really agitated because comics, I went from 75 cents to like, Image came out. Everything was what, $2, $2.50. Everything felt just so expensive, and I wasn't getting my allowance anymore. Everything was like a little bit more difficult. So I was like, all right, I gotta stop. And so when I went into my comic shop to tell them that I had to cancel my pull list, that was sad. that was like a breakup moment. Like I felt really bad that I had to stop doing it. And like I was going there for, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years. So I was a regular there every week, digging, looking for comics. You know, always looking forward to getting the new comics. So because of that, oh, we gotta go back. So I one of my earliest comic memories too is 1982, where I remember being on the 82, 83, somewhere. I forget exactly when we got the Commodore 64, but it would have been early 80s, maybe 84 even. So somewhere between 82 and 84. And I remember my brother having World's Finest, I think 7, the one with the battleship where Batman, Robin, and Superman are sitting on the cannons. I remember that just being on the Commodore and putting like my chocolate milk on it, using it as a coaster. To me, it was just like cheap DC. I wasn't really interested in DC, cheap DC comic, and I probably got destroyed because I don't remember him having it later after that moment, and maybe it got tossed after I got like thrown around in the dining room. But I know that comic was one of the comics that came from my grandma. Now my grandma, she had a apartment that was rented out in the 70s, and when the guy moved out, he left like several boxes of Golden Age comics, maybe 100, 200. And when I started falling in love with comics and getting them all the time in the mid 80s, my grandma started giving me comics for my birthday, Christmas, that kind of stuff. So I started getting, so I remember my brother, I think he had 2 DC older books, Batman, Superman kind of things. My older cousin, who's 10 years older than me, he was getting the cool, like the Terror, the action adventure comics that were probably a little bit more mature, because he would have been probably about 15. Maybe he got them younger. I don't know exactly when he started getting them. I started getting my issues when I was like 10-ish. So for like 4 or 5 years, I think every birthday, every Christmas, so probably about 10 times, I got a Golden Age comic from my grandma. I got Funny Folks 3. I got an issue, I think in the 20s. I got a couple of Walt Disney comics and stories in the like 40 or 50 number. So what is that, mid to late 40s? So I got a bunch, and then I remember one time in the early 90s, late 80s, my grandma needed to pay a bill. It's probably like a property tax bill or a water bill or just something where she didn't have enough money, and she needed me to help her. She needed help to pay this bill. So I offered to help sell some of she still had comics left over from this collection. I helped her sell a few to help pay this bill. And when I looked, she had a Batman 40, nice high-ish grade, like a 7.0 copy. Beautiful book. And this was probably right after the Batman movie came out. So my Batman love was really high at the moment. So I was like, Grandma, I need this comic. So we negotiated, and I gave her $10 for it. I don't know what it was worth. The price guide might have had it at like $20, $30. I only had $10. I'm like, I only have $10. She's like, okay, you can have it. So she sold me that. And somehow I also got a Superman 52, which I think I got that same day for like $5 maybe. I forget. And then she gave me a little stack of other comics that I was going to sell to the local bookstore to see how much they would give me. And I remember going in there, and I think they offered me 20 cash or $66 in store credit. And in my mind, I'm like, $66? That's worth more. So I got the store credit, not thinking, I have to pay my grandma. So I told my grandma what happened, $20, or I took the store credit. And she's like, you know what, just give me the $20 and you can, use the store credit for. So I think over the next like week or so, like maybe I borrowed it from my mom or something, or over the next week or two, I gave her my allowance. But I guess she needed about $50 because that's how much I ended up raising for her. But I remember what we sold to the comic shop was like Super Mouse #1, which I picked up again last year because I have memories with it. I was like, I want Super Mouse 1 again, and all the cartoon stuff. And I remember I bought, with the credit, I bought Silver Age Daredevil books for $5 each, something like that. I bought maybe like 10 of them, 12 of them. I thought that was really cool. Daredevil was the first series I really thought, you know what, I think I have a chance of putting a full run of these together. Like in the 80s, I was thinking, I want to collect every Marvel comic ever. And Daredevil was like, that's a run I could put together. And I remember right as my parents got divorced, I asked my dad for Daredevil #1 for Christmas. I was like, I need Daredevil #1. Get me a low grade one for $50. This wasn't eBay times though, so he couldn't find one. But I had a list that included Hulk 180, 181, 182, first appearance of Elektra, a few other books, and so he got me those. Like at the time I was really disappointed. I was like, oh, I really want the Daredevil one. Not thinking how cool it was that he actually got me Hulk 180, 181, 182. So like I look back, I'm like, that was actually pretty darn cool. So fast forward back to the early 90s when I moved from my hometown to Dover, New Jersey, where Dover, it didn't have a comic shop, but that's where the Joe Kubert art school is. So it is like a comic neighborhood. So I started selling comics on my front porch. I would set up like a garage sale, and I kept selling like every week $200, $300 worth of comics. I actually did really, really well that summer. I probably did like 3 or 4 sales. I probably made like $800, $900 on those sales. And then the last time I set up for the sale, I just had him out, and this guy like really drunk came. He's like, how much you want for everything? I was like, oh, I didn't even think about it. He's like, or I said, oh, I don't even know if I want to sell all of them. And he's like, what if I give you $800? And in my mind, $800 sounded awesome. $800 in 1993 money. Yeah, so I sold my whole collection, but at that point I had already sold my Batman 40 for $70. I was paying my sister 10% of sales to help me watch everything and would do the sale. And there's one day where I was bringing this stuff back up to my my room, and she, like, one of our friends came over and she went and started playing, not watching the comics. So the Superman 52 got stolen, and I was still a little upset about that today because that comic's cool. Now, as a kid, I thought it was a boring cover. It's a yellow cover. Superman is sort of flying sideways. The guy on the cover, if I remember correctly, is not a villain. Oh, thanks. And so, like, as a kid, I was upset it was stolen, but I wasn't upset that I lost that issue because I didn't have the same attachment to Superman. Even though I loved Superman as a kid, not the same attachment as that Batman cover, because the Batman cover had the Joker on it. I mean, that's freaking dope. So I got that stolen, but I remember I sold my Hulk 180, 181, 182 for, I don't remember, $100 maybe. I don't know what my dad paid for me. It was a Christmas gift. I should have kept them, honestly. But I was like, I didn't have a comic shop to buy it, and I was fed up with new comics. And in my mind, I was just like, I want to just be done with them. Sell them all, on to the next thing. And that's why when people call me a hoarder, I've sold big collections like that. Man, I had 3,000 comics as a kid. So at 16 years old, I sold all 3,000 comics. I've sold a lot of my collections over the years. It's just what I do. I collect a lot of stuff. I re-roll the money I make selling collections into the next thing I'm obsessed with. And it just, it's a bigger and bigger pile of cool stuff. Anyway, I made a lot of money that summer, and I got into sports cards. That's basically what I was buying and selling sports cards, doing conventions, I would get on my bike and go look for packs, try to find like packs that had the inserts. The score box, the third pack down in the middle always had the insert. So if you saw a new box, you could grab the insert and you might make $10 off a $1 pack or a 50-cent pack. And I remember the Marvel cards, the top 4 had all the holograms. So if you get a new box of those first series Marvel cards, the holograms are the top 4 packs. So there's like little ways you could tell where the packs were. Certain packs were like a lot thicker if they had the inserts in them, so I would look for the thick packs. I was one of those guys. I was a 17-year-old flipper, I guess, looking for the hot stuff. But it was fun trying to make a few bucks to have money to support my hobbies. And then at the time, I was a huge Deion Sanders fan. So basically, I would buy and sell and then buy one of every Deion Sanders card I could find. I sold my Deion Sanders collection in the early 2000s. Sold it for nothing, like $100. I probably should hold on to it, but I needed the money at the time. But yeah, I had a stack of his rookies. I had all kinds of cool inserts, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I was a huge Deion Sanders. He was on the Yankees. I really loved him on the Yankees, and then I loved watching him play football. Huge Deion Sanders fan, and that's another collection I sold. I had a monster box, 5,000 Deion Sanders cards I sold for like $100, nothing. And I don't really regret it. I only regret it for value-wise, but I haven't really felt the urge to collect sports cards again. I only maybe kind of want to get some Ben Rice cards because I really like Ben Rice right now. He's my favorite Yankee. So yeah, I sold off all my comics in the early 90s. That guy came, he was drunk. He's like, I'll give you $800 for all the comics. And so he had to go to the bank to get the money, because this is 1992. You don't have like PayPal or Zelle or anything. You would have to actually go get cash. I didn't want to check. I wanted actual cash because I didn't want to lose those comics without proving that I didn't know if his check would be good or not. Within the hour of him going to get money, I was like, oh shit, is there any comics that I really just do not want to let go? So I dug through the box really quickly. Now, a lot of people ask that, like, what is that fire moment? Like, what would you grab if there's a fire? And this was my fire moment. I had 20 minutes to decide what to grab. So I flipped quickly and I pulled out a Funny Folks #3 from my grandma, because I wanted at least one of my grandma books, because that's super important. And as you can see, getting the funny books from her is the main reason why I love collecting the cartoon books. So when you see me collecting those 1940s and 50s, Fox and Crow and all that kind of stuff, it's because of my grandma. It just reminds me of all the stuff I got from her. There's a cool little junk store over here. I don't want to go inside because I'm telling you my story. In the future, when we go inside, but I'll just take a quick look actually. I'm actually going to see if they have any new comics for sale. They don't really want me filming inside, so this is not a place I can film. Alright. There's some cool stuff outside. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I just found a stack of comics. I spent $60 on 30 comics. Some decent stuff in here. A couple nice books. I'll show these on Pop Comics next week. Okay, fun finding stuff. So, yeah, I got a pile of comics. They were $2 each. I asked her, I was like, how much are they? She said $2. So I was thrilled with that. Perfect price, because I could find stuff. I bought some stuff that maybe I wouldn't have grabbed if I didn't know the price. Stuff that $2 is probably the price you would want to pay. Some Madman. I grabbed a bunch of early Winter Soldier appearances, including the first appearance. Like, holy crap, $2 is amazing on that. I grabbed some early Century appearances and New Avengers. I grabbed like one or two interesting looking books I didn't think I had. $2 is a little bit more than I want to pay for just the cheap random stuff, but for finding a few key issues mixed in, yeah, that was awesome. Okay. What a way to take a little break in the middle of telling a comic story to find some awesome comics. Okay, so I'm not finding any flea markets or garage sales, sidewalk sales. I don't even know what you call them in Brooklyn. Sidewalk sales, I guess. Not finding any of those today. I thought we might see a few, but I found some amazing stuff in the thrift shop. That just goes to show you, it's not luck. I mean, it's sort of luck. I lucked out that I found some cool stuff. It's more just a law of numbers. You get it out there and you hunt every day, and you'll eventually find something. Right? Like Jason's out there all the time, and every once in a while he's like, oh, look what I found, and he'll show some like $50 comic that he found in the dollar bin. It's just a law of numbers. You just gotta get out there hunting, finding spots to check out. She even said that they just put those comics out, that they hadn't had comics in a while, so maybe it was just right timing, right good luck moment, I guess. I don't know. I guess I do feel a little lucky when it comes to comic hunting sometime. So, okay, I sold off my comics. I was selling trading cards in college. I got into music. I was selling music for a while. That's when I met my good friend Jim. He was my music vendor, basically. He sold used and new CDs at the flea market. I worked at the flea market for a little bit. So we're going to skip forward from like 93 to 98. I was out of comics. I had no interest. I had lost interest in them, just because the Marvel DC stuff kind of just put a bad taste in my mouth. So, all the overproduced, bad art, bad storytelling, way too expensive. Sort of wish I had learned. Well, I did learn my lesson then to keep more stuff. That's always a thing I say now. If you're selling a collection, maybe keep the best couple things, because you won't regret keeping them. You won't regret, if you have a $100 comic that the store might give you $50 for, that $50 in the long run won't mean anything. But still having that one object that represents all the years of collecting is super valuable. So 1998, I met my, well, 1997, I spent 3 years going to community college. I got 2 associate's degrees in business. I was pretty much studying retail. I wanted to start a business, retail store. I thought I was going to open up a music shop, sell records and CDs and whatnot. Because that's just what I was into and I really loved it at the time. I always find growing up until that point, and still till today, I'm 50 later this year, I find taking my special interests, taking my hobbies and putting them into a business means I can do so much more of what I want to do, which is collect a lot of cool stuff. And I love it. So I always end up kind of making a business. Like I collected dolls in the early 2010s and I was buying and selling them to the point where I have, 1,000 pull-up and Monster High dolls that are worth a small fortune now. That were all paid for by buying and selling them, basically. So that's just what I do. That's what I did with Funko Pops. Anyone that questions, like, though I was an idiot for buying Funko Pops, no, I was buying and selling them and keeping a few here and there to build a collection, but a free collection, basically. So I got 3 associate's degrees, and then I went to NYU Business School, Stern. Really, I got into it because I had like a 4.1, 4.2 GPA. I had really good grades at community college because I enjoyed it. Like I pretty much bombed in high school because I hated it. It was a very bad social experiment. But college I did well because I could study the things I wanted to study, and I loved it. Okay, we're gonna head back to my shop. Kind of far away right now. All right, back in the shade. Kind of hot and sweaty. So I was going to NYU, but I was commuting from Dover, New Jersey, hour and a half each way, 3 hours a day commute, and it was killing me. It just burnt the crap out of me. That bus ride, like every day, it was tedious. So after like a year and a half at NYU, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to finish, I wanted to get my store, but I was also exhausted. And so I think what happened was I actually, I was kind of depressed. So I was like, you know what, I want to hunt for Ziggy's again. So I started going to thrift shops and I was buying like Atari games and Ziggy and things that I really enjoyed. But, I wouldn't find a lot of Ziggy, one thing every couple months maybe. I'd find a lot of Atari games. So I had probably bought like 100, 150 Atari games in the like 96, 97, 98, those 3 years. So I was finding stuff. And then one day I was like, I want to find more Ziggy stuff. I love Ziggy. Ziggy's one of my all-time favorite characters. So I went on a forum. I had bought and sold stuff on AOL message boards for a couple years. I sold trading cards and video games and stuff. So I had some experience selling online, but like at a weird time when it wasn't easy. And so I went on a message board thinking, oh, maybe there's a message board somewhere where people buy and sell. So I was like, this would have been late 97. And I was basically, I want to collect more Ziggy. I don't know where to find it. I look for it at garage sales, thrift stores and stuff. I found like one item once every few months, once a year. And someone said, oh, there's this new website you got to check out. It's called eBay. I'm like, eBay? Okay. I'll see what this is. I'll check it out. I go to ebay.com. Actually, I'm going to walk over to the water. I think there might be a flea market over here. So I get on eBay and I type in Ziggy on eBay, 1997. I had maybe a box of Ziggy stuff in my collection, 20 items, maybe 30 items, maybe a little more. I had my childhood Ziggy stuff, which was probably like 30, 40, 50 items, a bunch of dolls and other stuff that I had picked up at Cape Cod when I was doing those flea markets and stuff. They had Ziggy stuff at the Christmas tree shop, so I would get like really awesome Halloween Ziggy stuff after, the previous year, so it was like overstock. Anyway, I had 30, 40 Ziggy items, and I had picked up maybe 20 more in garage sales and flea markets and, anywhere I could find Ziggy stuff. Thrift stores, go on eBay, type in Ziggy. It's like the heavens open up. Whoa, 2001. There was like 1,000 Ziggy items. Lots of stuff that I wanted that I missed out as a kid, like different dolls that I hadn't picked up because I could only pick one of 2 at the time. Like my mom would give me one for our Halloween. She would give me one for, actually no, Halloween, I don't think she gave me Halloween ones. She would give me like, she'd give me one on Easter. I'd get Easter bunny Ziggy. I'd get one for Valentine's Day. We're gonna check out the waterfront. We're, you know, different St. Patrick's Day, I would get one. So I'd get, on Christmas, I'd get like one or two usually. So I'd get them for all the holidays. Oh, this is cool. This is where the big cause statue is. I forgot I was over here. I love this thing. It's really cool, like 30-foot tall cause statue. I think you can see it from the waterfront basically when you're in the boat. That's amazing. Always come over here. Water's beautiful. It's beautiful over here. So, I was a college student. I didn't have a ton of money. Selling some trading cards. Actually, no, by the time I was in NYU, I was spending so much time commuting, not trading cards, but I was working at the flea market where I made $40 every Sunday. So I had like a handful of money, but not a lot of money. And all of a sudden, it was like eBay. You know, all the Ziggy stuff I really wanted. $5 here, $10 there. Nothing was too expensive. All the things I wanted was common stuff. It wasn't common to me at the point before eBay because I wouldn't see it. But once I got on eBay, I realized how common a lot of the stuff I wanted was. Anyway, I started buying it and buying it and buying it. I quickly learned I need more money. So I looked through some of my childhood stuff I still had left over, cereal premiums. I had all those Atari games. And I started listing stuff on eBay and like making hundreds of dollars. And like I was blown away because I'd never made that much money in a week. And back then everything was paid with a check. So I'd get these, you know, piles of checks in the mail, and I'd have to sign like 50 checks. And like, I have dysgraphia, so my hand cramps up really quick when I'm writing. So I hated signing those checks. And now I'd give them to my mom, and she gets so annoyed because she'd have to deposit like 50 checks into her account. So she helped me get my own bank account. And, you know, at the time I was kind of depressed because the commute was killing me. My best friend from high school got a girlfriend, so I barely hung out with him anymore. And so I was just kind of lonely and sad. So it was really nice actually because my mom and I started going out on weekends to garage sales and stuff, looking for stuff to sell on eBay. I really treasure those times. It's like if I could, like at the time I was depressed, but if I could time travel back to like that 6-month period, hang out with my mom every weekend at garage sales, I would do that just to hang out with her hunting junk again. That was so I loved that time. Like thinking back now, I'm like, oh, I missed that. That was a wonderful time to me. I loved, like, throughout my life, junk hunting has always brought me so much joy. So I started selling, that was late 97 into 1998. I had become a huge Ani DeFranco fan. So I started this giant website that had like concert photos, and I traded live tapes. It was AniDeFranco.net. So it's like an early website. I even did one of my classes. I took the website and made it my project. And the teacher thought it was really cool because like everyone else was just describing a project, but I actually made a website. And it was actively like trading. And eventually because of that website, I got a press pass. And I saw Ani DeFranco like 20 times in 1998 with a backstage pass to take photos. I didn't meet her, but I met the whole band and all the crew member, and played hacky sack and just hung out. It was fun. Really enjoyed it. It was a really cool like 2-week trip that was funded by eBay. But because of that, I met my wife on the Ani DeFranco message board. Like I was trying to hang out with people because I was lonely. So I was just like, I was into Ani DeFranco. And I was like, you want to hang out? I was like, hang out with as many people as I could just to hang out. And I met lots of people. It was fun. I must have hung out with maybe 20 different people. But the day I hung out with my wife, it was just like, it was such a relaxing, wonderful, beautiful day because like I just got along with her and like nothing felt stressful and it just felt wonderful. And like I've never had that feeling. I always felt stressed around people. People stressed me out. And like she was like a very relaxing person to be around. I thought she was kind of cute. And so like started trying to pursue her. It took a few months. But by the summer, so like 4 or 5 months later, we were like going out full time. And eventually by the end of the year, I moved in with her. It's just a crazy whirlwind. So here who you are two young 22-year-olds. And actually, I dropped out at NYU for a while there just because I couldn't handle the commute, and so I was just doing eBay full time. I basically moved in with her so I could get back to NYU. And I did that for one semester, but I realized that wasn't it for me. I just really enjoyed the eBay thing. So we started buying and selling on eBay. We bought and sold a good amount in 98. And by 2004, I think we were selling like $500,000 a year of junk online. Back in the easy days, before everything was controlled by algorithms. So this whole story in between the comic hunting, how does it connect? So, thinking back to when I sold all my comics. Well, no, okay. 1998, end of 1998, I believe there was a cartoon that came out called Futurama. And I fell in love with this cartoon. I think that summer, I watched Iron Giant, loved that. Futurama, fell in love with that. So pop culture robots. I've always liked robots, Robbie the Robots, but like that summer was a extra robot-y summer. And so I saw that they were going to do a Futurama comic book. So I told my wife, I mean, well, she was my girlfriend at the time. I said, you know what, I want to get this Futurama. So we took a trip to the comic shop and I picked up a Futurama #1. And I loved it. I was just like, this is so much fun. So I was like, you know what, I miss comics. I loved them so much as a kid. I still had the bad taste of everything that happened with Marvel and DC. But Futurama was, what, Bongo? I was like, oh, this is a different publisher. Maybe I can enjoy some non-Marvel DC stuff. So I was like, you know what? I love sci-fi. Let me find some cool sci-fi stuff. And I found Why the Last Man. Fell in love with that. Rusty and the Big Guy cartoon came out in 1999. Another robot cartoon. Fell in love with that cartoon. So eventually I saw that was based on a comic. So I got the comics. Became a huge Jeff Darrow fan, not realizing it was Jeff Darrow. Honestly, I have this thing where I fall in love with artists before I know who the artist is, because I just keep buying their stuff, because every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That happens with almost every single artist I collect. I might collect the artist for a few years before it just clicks, oh, I keep buying the same artist. Oh, My Plastic Heart moved over there. Really, really cool shop. Let's actually take a quick look. I love this store. I would spend hundreds of dollars a week if I could.
Thank you.
Just take a quick, we have the giant soft boy. So cool. Oh man, so cool. Love this thing. They have music on in that shop, so I can't really film too much. Really fun shop though. If you're into art toys and like collectible limited edition stuff, it's a great place to go. Expensive, but like I enjoy that stuff so much more than mass-produced toys. It gives me a lot of joy. So where were we? So Futurama. I was like, you know, I want to get into sci-fi stuff. And then I watched the Crumb documentary. I think that came out in the late 90s. Fell in love with Robert Crumb, so I started collecting underground comics. And then I started collecting Mobius comics because I was looking for cool sci-fi stuff. I'm like, wow, this Mobius guy is awesome. So I collected a lot of like underground sci-fi indie stuff, boycotting Marvel DC in the early 2000s. Why the Last Man, I think maybe like 2001, 2002. I forget when that started. But I started getting, so Why the Last Man, I started on issue 6. Before that, I hadn't collected any yet. So I got the first trade paperback on Amazon, I think. Loved it, so I started going every month to get the new issues when they came out. So Futurama, Why the Last Man, and maybe a couple more I was buying monthly. But the thing that really kicked it off was I was thinking about the collection I sold in 1993. And when I asked that drunk guy, I was like, can I keep the Gru comics? And he's like, no, I really want to read those. I always kind of regretted selling that part of my collection. So I thought, you know what, I really want to recollect Gru. So my birthday in like 99, I think it was my birthday in 99, it might have been my birthday. Yeah, I think it was my birthday in 1999 or 2000. One of those years I said to my wife, my girlfriend at the time, I was like, you know what? for my birthday, I want to go to comic shops, all the comic shops we can in the city, and put together a collection I grew. So we went to like a dozen comic shops. It was such a wonderful, like if I could time travel into that day, that's another day I'd time travel into. It was so much fun. I got maybe half the run. I didn't get all of them, but I bought a whole bunch for like $2 to $5. I went everywhere, Forbidden Planet, Roger's Time Machine, Midtown Comics, like 2 or 3 other places. I don't remember the other locations. But yeah, we went everywhere I could find comic books, and it was awesome. So I was collecting Futurama, sci-fi stuff, the Mobius stuff, grew, and then I made a list of all the different issues that Sergio Aragonis did. So I started collecting all those that I could. I was buying anything and everything he did, every little guest appearance, anything I could find. And then I guess in 94, we started, like, we were selling a lot of stuff online, but the cheap stuff was kind of piling up and we were running out of space. And I was like, we need to find a way to sell more cheap stuff. So we started selling outside the building that our store is in right now. We started selling on the weekends. We'd go over there on the weekends and sell on the sidewalk. And it did really, really well. We had one day where we sold like $3,000 worth of DVDs and stuff at, $3, $5, $8 a piece. It kind of blew me away. So we were like, okay, we're gonna put a store on the first floor. And oh, that's cool. Very neat. So we were gonna put a store on the first. Oh no, what happened was on 9/11 that year, the cops shut down our sidewalk sale because we would spread out every day. So we sold out of the basement for like half a year in 2005. And we would just set up and we sold comics. Oh, we had a little collectible store actually in New Jersey in 99. We tried that out for about 7 months. It was really difficult to come up with the rent though. We weren't selling enough there. But I sold comics for 50 cents there. So I was still selling comics. I wasn't quite collecting them yet. I was just selling them. And we bought a collection of 10,000 comics from a guy who worked for a distributor and had just a whole bunch of unopened boxes of comics. So stuff like 30 copies of G.I. Joe from 80 to 100 maybe. Like a whole stack of each Wolverine comic from 2 to 10. So even 8 and 10, there was like 20 or 30 in there. The best thing that we actually sold for $100 each was there's 3 of the Kiss Marvel Premier magazines in pretty high grade. Sold those 3 for $100. I basically paid him 10 cents a comic, so I paid $1,000, and it probably took us a year to break even because comics just do not sell very well in 1998 or 1999. There's a whole stack of Amazing Spider-Man 200 near mint copies. I got $5 a piece out of those. What are those today? $100? Like a lot more money. So we were involved with comics, but I wasn't really, $19.99. I was buying the Futurama. So I guess I had comics on the mind. And that's why we started selling comics. But it was mostly, I probably had a little stack to sell that I picked up somewhere. And they started selling. So I was like, all right, let's just deal in comics. 50 cents at a time though. They weren't huge sellers or anything. But they would sell. People would come in, I'd get $5 here, $10 there. And that's sort of when I first fell in love with selling cheap stuff. Because I love making $100 on stuff that you paid like next to nothing for and you get $2 each. That's actually, I like that a lot more than spending $100 on something that I'm gonna flip for like $120. Because it just feels safer. Parking your money in volume than quantity. Because quantity can be very fickle, it can go up and down. So, that store we only had for about 9 months and then we closed it because I had it in New Jersey so I could visit my mom and stuff. But again, we were doing that hour-and-a-half commute because when I moved in with my girlfriend, it was in Brooklyn. And then, so we would have to commute an hour-and-a-half to the weekends to do the store. So we had to stop it. It was nice though, it was good because it's right when my relationship was new and my family got to, know my girlfriend. Oh wow, this is a little park now. I don't think this was a park the last time I was over here. Oh, very neat. They've turned the side of the inlet. Let's walk over to the side here. Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, when I was doing the walks, 2 years ago, this was all like abandoned land. Oh wow, this is really nice. Kind of smells though, so this inlet water is probably kind of funky. It looks beautiful, it doesn't smell beautiful. A little bit stagnant. All right, I'm getting a little bit red. I don't know if I'm getting sunburn. So fast forward to 2005, I was in the basement selling, and then we were selling comics for $1, and they sold well. I still have people, like, I had a guy come in the shop yesterday. He's like, oh yeah, I remember when you were in the basement. You know, that was 21 years ago. But it took us 5 years to actually do the storefront because it was just an apartment at the time. So we had to put a lot of money to convert it to an actual storefront. Very exhausting. But, you know, the space is so cheap for us to use that it was worth doing. It's just at the time, it was just like, so exhausting. Anyway, that summer, 2004, when we were selling on the sidewalk, I became friends. You know, one of the guys that was coming and buying movies from us all the time, I became friends with, and I found out that he was an editor for Burly Man Entertainment, who, you know, was doing comics for Jeff Darrow, you know, the Matrix comics and stuff. So I was like, oh wow, like I love Jeff Darrow. So like I became an even bigger fan. I was collecting even more sci-fi and indie stuff because I was like geeking. When you geek out with people, you kind of collect more. You know, that same time, like 2006, my friend James, who you see, that the really good artist, he, or 2005 actually, we were selling in the basement, and he came down in the basement and handed me a resume to try to get a job. I was like, I'll go hire this guy, because who wants to work for some random dude selling stuff in a basement? Traffic. So James, you know, big fun 80s toy fan. So he kind of influenced me to buy toys. And I realized I was buying Ziggy stuff hardcore up till 2004, like everything. I mean, I still buy hardcore today, but that's all I was buying. And then I eventually realized, you know, when I get old and I probably need to sell stuff, I should have other stuff to sell, not my Ziggies, because I'm not going to want to sell the Ziggy stuff. So I started collecting a lot of toys, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, just anything cool and vintage, or, well, it wasn't vintage at the time. It was, you know, 15 years old at the time. And so I actually collected a lot of 80s toys in 2005, 2006. We made a lot of money because we ended up selling our movie collection that we had built, buying and selling outside and in the basement and on Amazon. And so we had like a 6,000 movie collection, but then they started talking about releasing movies on HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. So I was like, you know what, DVD prices are gonna fall. Let's sell our collection and put that money into the store. So we sold 6,000 movies that probably averaged, like a lot of them were out of print, Criterions, box sets that were going for 40, 50 bucks. You know, some stuff going for $5 to $8. But overall, we probably averaged at least $10, $20 a piece. So what we sell, 60,000, 100,000, somewhere between there, of movies that in 2006. You know, I just was loading them up on Amazon and having like $3,000 days, basically. It was a lot of really good money. And so again, that's the third time I sold a major collection. Oh, we sold all our CD collection. It was only a few hundred. We sold that in 1998, I think. Like one of the first collections my wife and I sold. So I've always sold big collections. My collection right now is bigger than ever. But I've been in the process of selling my Funko Pop collection, which I had 9,000 Funko Pops, and I've sold at least half of them and probably made $100,000 to $120,000 on them. I don't know how much of that is profit, but most of them were paid for by doing videos and buying and selling. So it's profit, although I reinvested most of that into comics. That's why I've been able to do a lot of big comic content in the last 2 years, and why people are like, oh, were you a trust fund baby? Or someone accused me of being a Nepo baby. Like, no, I just buy and sell collections. And sometimes I sell big parts of collections. And, you know, one day my comic collection, I might sell it. Like, the plan is when I'm about 60, I'm gonna have to really seriously think about retirement. So that's between ages 60 and 65 is probably when I have to sell most of the stuff that I have. But not my Ziggy stuff. That's why I started collecting toys and other things. This has been a very, very long story. So yeah, no, I became friends with a guy who worked with Jeff Darrow, and I was like a big Rusty and Big Guy fan, so I became even a bigger Rusty and Big Guy fan. And 2005, so yeah, I was collected a lot of indie comics, probably thousands, 3,000 or 4,000, like indie underground like Vertigo stuff, so not exactly indie, but not mainstream superhero stuff. I had no interest in it. There's a junk store in my neighborhood that we walked by the last video that had 50-cent comics. So I would go in there and buy, you know, $50 worth of Vertigo or Wildstorm books. And like, I thought it was cool to pick up all these really neat looking books that were not mainstream. So I still even have that kind of bad taste when I think of 1990s books. Like, people get upset with me when I kind of downgrade or downplay Image and Valiant and stuff. But that's the thing that got me out of comics. So I don't have a fond spot for that stuff. Whereas I know a lot of you guys are like 40 years old. That was right when you were 10 years old. So that's like a super nostalgic for you. So for me, like G.I. Joe Transformers is your Spawn, if that makes sense. So 2005, 2006, 2007 to 2010, I was in a depression. My wife convinced me to stop collecting because we had no money coming in. It was really difficult because we would put every cent we had to get that storefront. We probably spent like 200 grand to get the storefront put in. And it nearly broke us. But we got open by 2010. I still had some boxes of comics left over from the wholesale lot I had bought in 1999. I had a few, so we had put dollar bin in. Comics sold pretty good, right? We would sell $50 here, $20 there. So I expanded on buying and selling comics. And then when my wife got pregnant in 2011, I was like, you know what? Comics were such an important part of my life growing up. There's like, I want to collect a lot more comics for my son, kind of. Just, I want fun reading material around. So I am very sunburned. Look how red I am. So I started collecting like everything practically. And then around the same time too, so many comics, like in 2010, I was buying short boxes full of Spawn ones for like 10 cents a piece. So yeah, so 2011, I was just thinking, 2011, like right when the Avengers movie came out, comics, they were just the price they were. I would buy things like, a short box of Spawn, #1 for 10 cents each, sell them for $1. Sell them slowly, but they would sell. I didn't have people coming and freaking out. But by the time the Avengers movie came out, people started like speccing and things. I would sell things and they would go up from $1 to $50 in like a week. Or I'd have stuff sitting in the store for months. Then the movie and news would come out and it would sell right away. And then I was like, oh, I had 20 of those. Would make $20. If I had just held on to them, I would have made $500. So I started holding on to a lot more comics. I was collecting them kind of for my son, kind of the holdout for future value, and to just do more with them and enjoy them. So I started collecting everything, all the key issues, whatever I could get. And so that was what, 2011 to 2015, I was buying comics like almost weekly. Every weekend I'd go out on garage sales, go to thrift stores, and buy a lot of comics. I had tens of thousands of comics by 2015. And I was watching a lot of comic YouTube. I watched Mercenaut, I watched Tom Ryan, I watched a few other guys. I think Tom Ryan and Mercenaut were the ones I watched the most. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do YouTube too. As a kid, I liked filming stuff. I had the itch to film stuff and show my collection. I think in 2005, I was going to do like a little collector's documentary with my friend Steve. So I had some footage of me opening up boxes of stuff in like 2005. So it was in my blood. I was like, you know what? I could just do the same thing on YouTube. So I started Pop Comics. I was like, you know what? Pop culture is my favorite. My store's named PopFuzz. I like comics. So I'm gonna start this channel called Pop Comics. And I did a little haul and like, it's still on the channel. My first haul, it's kind of awful. Still like a really good deal, some really cool comics. I was shy and nervous, and like, my favorite thing about watching people grow on YouTube is you can see them progress and just get better, and I think it's a really cool thing. So I like leaving up older stuff just to see where I was, just to inspire people. All right, super busy over here by the restaurant. Definitely getting some sunburn today. It's good. I need some sun, but I'm gonna slather my face with aloe when I get home. So basically I was collecting a lot of comics, then I started YouTube. I did 3 or 4 videos and they got like 10 views each. I was just like, I wasn't inspired. So then after like 3 or 4 comic videos, I saw an article about people doing toy videos on YouTube, and like the toy videos doing really well and the people just making a lot of money with them. So I was like, you know what, I love toys too. Let me start a toy video. So the very first toy video on Pop Fun to Play was a Lego video. It was awful. Like worse than the comic videos. I didn't even talk. I thought maybe I'd just do videos without a voice to make it a little bit easier, because I was, you know, I didn't think I was talking very well on the comic channel. And that channel, that didn't do that well either. It took me 6 months of kind of failing, and then I did a random Monster High like Mega Block video, and that video did really well. They got like 1,000 views in the first couple days. So then I was kind of hooked. And by that summer, I think by like December 2010, I was getting 1 million views per month on the channel for a couple months. I didn't sustain at that level, but that was just like crazy success for a new channel. And so, you know, Pop Comics was abandoned, but then I really wanted to do comic videos again, kind of. I was itching, because that's like my joy spot. Toy videos was more like work to promote things. I mean, it was fun, but the comic videos was really the most joyful thing for me. I mean, even more joyful would be Ziggy videos, but those never did well. So I did, I went to a garage sale with my son. I filmed that video. That was a really fun video. I love that video. I'll actually put a link to that video if you want to see an old school like junk hunt from 2015 or 16. And while I was there, I was asking for comics, because that's what I did. And one of the guys shopping there was like, oh yeah, I have my cousin's comics. I inherited them, or he didn't want them. So like the next week, I talked to him on the phone. I met him at his work spot. Found a whole cool pile of comics. Paid him $400. Made a video on Pop Fun to Play. That video exploded. I've made a video I think it's made like $1,000 to this point, and it still makes $5, $10 a month. That was when I was hooked on doing big comic content. It took me a year or two to realize that I needed to do longer comic videos. That's really where the success came from. So yeah, if you look up like comic collection or comic haul video, my Pop Fun to Play videos tend to be some of the highest ranked ones for actual comic content. Not cosplay and other comic related content, but actual like hunting and collection content. So yeah, I did Pop Fun to Play. I would do a comic video like 5 times a year, so every couple months, just when I had the itch and too much stuff was piling up, because I was still buying it for myself. And each one of those would start out slow because the regulars wouldn't watch it, but the algorithm would promote them long term. So eventually during the pandemic, I decided, you know what? I need to pull the comic videos out onto their own channel so it doesn't affect that channel. And so that's how I started posting again on Pop Comics. And I guess that's all history from there. You know, you can watch all my different videos I've done since 2022 or so. Have, you know, 300 or 400, between Pop Fun to Play and Pop Comics, I have 300 or 400 big mega haul videos showing a lot of comics. That's the main point of my videos, is I want to make a video where you see like 1,000 comics, and it's all 1,000 comics. Hopefully I haven't showed you before. I like showing new stuff, so it's new and unique each time. That's why I'm always looking for stuff I don't own. Okay, that was fun, but I am sunburnt and tired, and I really appreciate you. I will be back on Pop Fun to Play on Tuesday, and I'll be, you know, cleaning up and doing work. Where PopFuzz is right across the street right there. So I'm going over there right now to say hello to my wife and get a drink or something. Okay, appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.